What's the deal, my people? You know it is the Don Tony Tough Line, and I'm back at you with another one. And this one is Netflix has just won the WB battle. Netflix has taken out Paramount, has taken out a whole bunch of other places, and now it is going to be Netflix that holds the keys to the Iron Throne. I'm trying to see if my chair is low for some reason. I feel like I'm a little low in this picture, but we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about what that means for all your favorite shows that are on WB Network. Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Are we going to, obviously you can call in 781-990-8509. Is that the number? I don't know if that's Phil's number. It may not be that number. I have to update the number in a second. But we're going to talk about all that. And we're going to get through all the BS. Because I see a lot of people out there reporting stuff and everything else, and we're going to see what's good. You know what I mean, with this whole thing. And if it's the way we want it to be as fans, and what it means to YouTubers too. I'll tell you what it means to some YouTubers like myself, how it's going to affect us putting out content for you and everything else. Talk about all that stuff and some more stuff as we go through. Well, let's say what up to some of the people that are in the chat right now, chilling with us right now. We got Beat the Odds is in the building, rocking with the Don Tony Tough Line. Sonic Your Boy is up in here. Sunny Skies is in the building, rocking with us right now. Peter Griffith is up in this piece, rocking with us right now. The Dragon Demands is in the building, rocking with us right now. We also have Samuel is in the building, rocking with us right now. Now, I've been talked about Game of Thrones. We're going to start with Game of Thrones. Fine Breeze is in there rocking with us right now. Breezy is in the building rocking with us. John Haymaker is up in this piece rocking with us. Hit that thumbs up for you, boy, on your way in. It ain't hard to do. And we'll get this thing popping. Phil will be joining us in a little bit to give his thoughts on it. So, since Netflix now has ownership of a whole bunch of IPs, our favorite IP, Game of Thrones, is one of those situations that we have to deal with right now. Now, listen, if you were thinking like this is going to be, you wanted the ending of Game of Thrones to change, if you wanted them to redo it or redo something, I believe that this is the best chance that you have for that to happen. That if it was ever going to happen, if Netflix owns it, now that they do own it, it has a better chance of happening 100%. Now, when dealing with real quick, the HBO Max app. Now, I subscribed to Netflix, so they sent me an email like they did to all subscribers, and let you know that they did purchase a WB, and everything's going to remain the same. But I will say two ways that it could go, right? So we know Amazon bought MGM, and MGM Plus still does exist on its own entity other than Amazon. You have to get MGM Plus if you want certain shows there, right? But those shows eventually do find their way to Amazon, and most likely that's the way they're going to go for it in the beginning. It's going to be a situation like that. They're going to keep the app HBO Max right for now, and nothing will change in the beginning. And then eventually those shows from that platform will just merge over to Netflix in the end after their season and out. But I don't think that they're going to stay that route, because once they crunch the numbers and they start thinking, are people really going to pay two things, Netflix money and HBO Max money? Are they going to pay both of those things? Are they going to want to pay both of those things to get this? So they're going to have to roll this all into one thing. And eventually, I believe that HBO will just be a part of Netflix. It'll just be HBO shows. You'll be able to click the tab and all the shows will go there right off the bat. Now, this means that we know Netflix's strategy and the way they get down. They dump whole seasons at one time. It's going to happen. Once it all merges over to them and they have full control, let's just go hypothetically if that's the case, they're going to start dropping straight full seasons in one shot. And the good thing about it is that Netflix has the ability to make any show just about a hit show, right? I think if Duster would have came out and they would have took it over, Duster would have been a huge show and probably not even have gotten canceled on there, because it would have been huge. That show would have worked really good on Netflix, right? And also when it comes down to like when it comes down to the reach that Netflix has. There's so many more subscribers on Netflix than there is HBO Max that it's hard to compete with these other companies, right? So when you're going up against Paramount and you're going up against Netflix and you're going up against Amazon and Apple and all these other things that have more subscriber base, usually more subscribers means more views on that show. How many people actually have HBO Max? That's why HBO Max can't never rank in any of these categories. When we look at the Nielsen ratings, they're never ranking. They're never there. The Penguin was an amazing show, never ranked. Never was there. It's never going to get there because it's not enough eyeballs on it. Again, you can look at Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is considered one of the greatest shows in television history, but nobody was watching it. Even when it was winning awards, nobody was watching it because no one had the network that it was dealing with. It wasn't until it went on Netflix. When Netflix got the rights to the show and they put it on Netflix, that's what blew the show up. That's what made the show as big as it became. It was because people actually had a chance to watch it because it was on Netflix, and a lot of people have Netflix, and that is the reason why all of a sudden, and it did it like the season before the end, and then they were begging, oh, we need another season, we need another season, but Vince Gilligan was like, nah, this is it, this is over, it's done deal, we ain't messing with this, you know what I mean? It's not going to happen. And that is what exactly happened, you know what I mean? So that's how that show blew up. So when we look at specifically Game of Thrones shows, you know, we have the Dunk and Egg show coming out, Night of Seven Kings. All that's going to come out regular right now. But within 2 years, if this show goes over, I would say the third year of this show, I believe that Netflix will then absorb HBO. And then it will just come over to there. And then you're going to get especially shows like Duncan Egg, that's 8 episodes or 6 episodes, it's going to get dropped in one show. They're going to drop that whole thing, and it's just going to be boom, 1 week, and it's going to be there, and that's going to be it. And you're going to have that. And that's not going to be good for anybody who does YouTube, because usually people like me who do YouTube, you know, usually have to do a week by week for views and everything else. It's going to be all season drops. Without a doubt, any short shows like that is going to be at, like Welcome to Derry. Welcome to Derry is going to be the new Stranger Things. Stranger Things is ending. They need a show like that. They got Welcome to Derry. They will move Welcome to Derry over to Netflix and make it the new Stranger Things, which may be a good thing and may be a bad thing. Just say, Tony, would you bring back Taxi Cab Confessions? Yes, I would. I love that show. Oh, non-fiction. I've been thinking about dropping HBO. I don't know. Will prices be affected? 100%. You don't. 100%. Will prices will be affected. You don't get something for nothing in this world. That's just not the works. You know what I mean? So it's definitely going to increase the price of Netflix 100%. But but it will be cheaper than having Netflix and HBO together, right? So whatever you're paying for HBO Max and Netflix, it would be cheaper than having them both separate. I guarantee it would be cheaper, but they're definitely going to merge it and everything else. You know what I mean? The price is definitely going to go up. This is just what has to happen. There's no way around that. That they have to do that. They have to make that money back. They're spending hundreds of billions of dollars on this whole situation. I think I have a program running in the background real quick. That's why I'm having this problem right now. Let me shut this down. Let me shut that down real quick. And that should be nice. And I should be good to go. I feel the issues guy has entered the building. He's in the background. So yeah, that is what is definitely going to happen, you know. But think about other shows that have been canceled too quick. Now listen, Netflix canceled the show quick too. Don't think that they don't. But the reason why they cancel shows too quick, is they always will tell you, they'll say that it doesn't, if they have a show that's similar, and that show that's similar is already driving subscribers to that network, then they don't need the other show because they already have a show that's successful doing that. So that's the way they look at it and everything else. And let me tell you something about Hollywood. When it's all when you're dealing with Hollywood and all this situation, Hollywood is is a dinosaur. It's just not a good. It's just not a good system. You know, let me break it down to you how the Don Tony Teflon feels about it. I have a 110-inch television set, right, in my living room. Spent a lot of money on it. I have a Bose surround sound system. Spent a lot of money on it in my living room. Got a 65-inch TV in my bedroom. Now I watch, that's connected to my wall in my bedroom. I 100% would rather stay home and use what I've already invested in to watch these shows than go to goddamn movie theater and be around people screaming, coughing, throwing candy around. It's dirty. It's messy. I just went to go see that new show, Zootopia. And during the show, the mouse ran right across the goddamn underneath the screen. You know, I've seen it. I don't know how many other people seen it, but I did. You know, this is what it is. I don't want to be around that. I don't want to be around no one. I'd rather just be chilling in my crib and watching everything. I invested money in my crib to do that. So why not be able to do that? And Hollywood, the way they operate, they want me to still go out and invest that money and then spend other money somewhere else. No, I'd rather just stay home and think Netflix is on the right track with that.
Definitely. I absolutely agree with you when it comes to the going to the movie theater thing. The one thing I'll take issue with that you were saying at the beginning is Netflix is an asshole about canceling shit too. I have a bunch of stuff in having them. They do have a better model, and it's usually for the right reasons, but sometimes there's some shady stuff, or maybe I'm just salty because they canceled the shows I like. The one thing that's for sure going to be happening, which it was kind of funny. About a couple months ago, HBO started putting out those flyers or the like banners on when you sign in that say within the next year we're going to stop password sharing. Now it's like we know for a fact that's stopping because Netflix completely stopped all their password sharing. Like I know that's just a minor thing, but if anyone is still doing the HBO sharing thing, get your last use out of it, because that's going to be the first thing that goes. That's going to be the first thing that they rip away. But HBO Max is staying alive for now, as far as I heard. But I agree with you, Tony. Eventually, it's going to integrate, and it's just going to be a giant Netflix thing. I think the first thing you'll see is Game of Thrones and The Sopranos and The Wire and Oz all showing up on Netflix. Like you'll see the big five, you know, or whatever, like Succession as well. You'll see all of those shows: Game of Thrones, Succession, The Wire, Sopranos, Sex and the City. Sex and the City might have already been there. And I also think some of that shit that this idiot Warner Brothers guy has done over the last couple of years will be reversed. Like all the Looney Tunes stuff will be back. You know, you won't have to, and I know some of that stuff's happened, but like, you know, part of the stuff that this dude has done on Warner Brothers has sunk the value of HBO. And the other thing about HBO and the streaming platform, Tony, you're absolutely right about they like lost. It was an old model. They couldn't quite do it, but they also fucked themselves with the branding thing. Like when everyone else was coming out with one app, HBO had like 3 different versions of the app. Then they changed the name and they dropped the Max. They add the Max. They put the Max back in there, put the HBO back in there. They diluted their own brand in this new brand Hollywood society because of they were the king at the end of the game of the antiquated cable TV system. And they had a chance to bridge that into the online space as well, in the way that Blockbuster could have become Netflix if they played it right. And HBO bumbled it, Tony, because of the naming. I think the naming thing had a big thing to do with it. They kept like bouncing around the name. No one could kind of settle on the service.
HBO, then they had HBO Go.
I forgot about the Go. I forgot about the Go, dude.
Then they had HBO Max. Then they changed it to Max, and then it's like the rating system. Sometimes the ratings would be only for HBO or only for Max, but it wouldn't include the HBO extraterrestrial viewers and everything else. And all these things was really ruined the brand. Because when we look at HBO and what HBO was, HBO transitioned from, let's say, NYPD Blue, which at that time when it came on television, Law and Order, they were the most realistic shows on network television, and HBO took it a step farther.
Yeah, like St. Elsewhere, Hill Street Blue, like it took that kind of stuff and went,
yeah, we're gonna do it for real. And it got to the point to me when I was watching HBO shows that I couldn't watch network television anymore because they seemed so unrealistic. right? It just did not work for me and everything. You know, I had to hear people curse. It didn't seem it didn't curse, didn't seem real to me and things like that. So I think
AMC was the last
HBO
one that survived. Sorry, Tony. AMC was the last one that survived because of The Walking Dead and Mad Men and Breaking Bad. But other than that, HBO defeated all competitors.
100%. And quality of show. Now I think with this influx of money, if you're a Game of Thrones fan, I think you have a much better chance now to get all of these spinoffs made. I think they'll do it. Netflix will do them all. They have the money to do it, and they'll do it. What do you think about the spinoffs for Game of Thrones on Netflix?
I think you'll see more spinoffs. I think the thing you'll see the most probably, I think everything will go as planned. And I want to talk about something that you were talking about a second ago, but I got to remember to talk about the weekly versus everything dropping at once.
Yeah.
But to answer the question about the Game of Thrones thing, I think you're going to see movies. I think you're going to see more, not in the theater, produced on HBO, but you're going to see 2-3 hour movies, little mini series, little one-offs. I think they're really going to. I'm pretty sure Game of Thrones or Song of Ice and Fire is a big reason why Netflix wanted to grab this, because Netflix may have won the streaming wars in some ways, or created and defeated HBO, or HBO outdated themselves and everything we're saying. But compare Netflix to some of the other big ones that are still out there. You mentioned Paramount earlier. Netflix is lacking a little bit in the franchises. They have shows, but they don't have franchises. I mean, Squid Game to a certain extent, but like talking about like a big franchise that is owned by Netflix. They used to have the Daredevil one or all that sort of stuff, but they lost that out. Lost that one out to Disney Marvel. They never owned it, whatever. But by getting this, they actually get two big ones. That they get Harry Potter with the new Harry Potter series coming out, and they have Game of Thrones with all of that. And I'm sure there's other ones I'm not thinking about, the Sopranos and the Wire stuff. They'll probably not do spinoffs of that, but those are still considered two of the top 5 greatest television shows of all time. You now have in your category that has a whole audience into itself. You have Warner Brothers now, like all the Looney Tunes and shit. That's another franchise. You can do a Space Jam every year now, and every year Thanksgiving Day Space Jam game if you want to. But I think that's a big part of it, Tony, like getting the franchises. And with Game of Thrones, I think they're going to make Game of Thrones walk for them as much as they can.
Yeah, they're gonna abuse that franchise. So I think all the things like you were talking about, you wanted the Jon Snow spinoff, you can get it.
Oh, it's happening in 2 years. It's happening in 2 years.
Now they'll definitely run that. You know what I mean? Without a shadow of a doubt. Oh, thank you so much, Captain Obvious. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you stopped by.
Oh, you see who we have in the chat? We have the wonderful Sarah. Great to see Sarah.
Sarah Charles just forgot all about us, abandoned us, but she's here tonight, and that's what matters.
It's great to see Sarah.
It is great to see Sarah. I would say you'll get that, like the Corliss Valerian animated series. Fuck yeah!
Oh, it's happening. Happening.
That's a guarantee.
With a BoJack Horseman crossover, Tony. It's kind of BoJack's to be in that boat.
They will do that show. If you're talking about Aegon's Conquest, they'll do it. They'll do it. If you're talking about Robert's Rebellion, I'm saying if you even a redone final season of Game of Thrones, they'll do it. They'll do a movie version of it.
Animated. They'll do an animated version so they can get all the actors to do the voices.
Yeah, Netflix will get that done. That was never going to happen. A lot of these things on HBO because they were so crunched for money that they had to pick and choose and everything else, and they couldn't waste a dime. Netflix, all they care about is people subscribing to their channel. And if they can get the whole Song of Ice and Fire community all on board, and they're saying we're going to keep pumping a Song of Ice and Fire stuff out every year, you're going to get something. They say subscribe. That's all they care about. They're cool with it. They're making money hand over fist. They will be about it.
King Matthew asks, I'm just curious on if Netflix will stay as one app and HBO stays as one app, will combine into one big app together. Eventually, Tony was saying this earlier. Eventually, it will probably combine to one app, but HBO Max will stay live for now. But this is what they said. Integration with Netflix is likely. We're going to look at that later. So they're probably just going to let the dust settle a little bit, get through all of this, let everybody sort of cave into it, and then out of nowhere they'll announce HBO Max is going to end at the end of next year and migrate everyone over. Like, they'll give people warnings for that shit, but I think we get about a year, maybe 2. You were saying that before I jumped on, Tony, and I agree, about a year or 2 that we'll get of HBO still being a thing before it becomes a tab on the Netflix app.
That's all it's going to be. That's what it's turned out to. So listen, listen, what's Netflix is doing what HBO used to do. Netflix is doing boxing matches. That's something that HBO was famous for. And a lot of people subscribe to HBO because the biggest fights happen on HBO. And then when they got rid of the boxing, they'd seen a lot of numbers drop off it. You know what I mean? 100%. Netflix has picked up that ball. They're doing the live boxing matches now and everything. They're going to be the ones doing that stuff. So
we're going to see a murder on live TV in a couple of weeks, hopefully.
100%. You're going to see the big fights going on. The biggest fights now going to go on Netflix. And that's just what it's going to be because the numbers are going to be there. And that's where everyone's going to want to fight. It's all going to transfer over to Netflix. Netflix is taking over these situations and everything else, and it's going to be because of that. Like I said, they have, I guarantee Stranger Things is ending. They know what they're gonna take this. It's Welcome to Derry because they got the franchise, and they're gonna spin that into the next Stranger Things, and it's gonna become a pop culture. Now I talked about it a little bit earlier, Phil, but you weren't here. But what do you think about Netflix's abilities to blow up a show? I brought up Breaking Bad and everything else. How Breaking Bad wasn't as popular until it got on Netflix.
I think for sure that it's that huge marketing campaign that they have. And I think they have shows that could explode into next week. I mean, we've been talking about this for years with From, how if From was a Netflix show, how ridiculously huge it would be. And it's pretty damn big right now. It's one of the biggest shows on television, in spite of being one of the hardest shows to find sometimes. And so Netflix just becomes the thing that most people have. And you're right, it's becoming the every app for people. Maybe it's losing some of the burst of being able to create new content as crazy as possible. But Wednesday was fucking huge. Like, it keeps putting out stuff that Squid Game is huge. Like, it keeps doing it again and again and again. I think Netflix is going to like pump out the content and really, really advertise and put like a nuclear bomb on some of these shows and create things into next mainstream. I think it's also interesting that Netflix has been experimenting in the last couple of years with different kinds of mediums too. They tried the choose your own adventure game with it was like that old video, like the Vandersnatch or whatever it was. And now they have all the games. I don't know if everyone has option to it. I know it was spread out lightly earlier. You can play all those games from your phone, like Centipede or a trivia game with your friends. They've like the games integrated into the Netflix, and you download a controller on your phone. So yeah, I mean, I think this is coming to the point, Tony, where there's going to be 3 of these things and everything's on 3 of them. And honestly, that's good. I mean, there's been too many of these things. This was bound to happen. It's about time this happened. Like, I know a lot of people, and there is some stuff, people losing their jobs, losing business, the HBO brand recognition, but HBO's dragged their name through the mud already. This is one of those things, like the restaurant has already had cockroaches going across the floor. And now they're closing the restaurant. Now everyone's like, oh my God, the restaurant's closing. HBO fucked themselves a while ago for a lot of reasons. But
what hit show has HBO really put out after Game of Thrones that's not in that universe? What hit show has they have?
Last of Us, but that's definitely a divisive show.
That's not. I mean, the first season was a hit. The second season was terrible. And it's done.
Mayor of Easttown was pretty big. It won awards.
Mayor was good, but it's one year.
Succession was huge, even though
like a Mayor of Easttown would be a one weekend drop. They dropped Mayor of Easttown. Any shows like that, it's gonna drop. This is like the true crime, so True Detective. That's going to be dropped once one weekend is done and all episodes out. It's not going to be a weekly thing.
This is the one thing that I hope changes about the Netflix medium. And if it's possible to use the example that we've seen right now, okay? I don't know how much, I don't have the exact facts in front of me, but I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that, somebody told me and the friend told me and whispered in my ear. No, but I actually heard them saying this, that the Duffer Brothers, the Stranger Things guys, they wanted to release Stranger Things on a week-to-week basis. They wanted to release these last, 10 episodes, whatever it is, 9 episodes, 10 episodes, 12 episodes. I don't give a fuck. That's not important. But they wanted to do it week to week. And Netflix was like, no, that's not our thing. You can't do it there. And they compromised by letting them do the 3 on one day, 3 on another day, which I think is better than all being dropped at once. This is creating some hype around. I mean, if people were receiving this season better, but people are actually talking about it and excited for the second half and seeing it on New Year's Eve and Christmas. If they can change it a little bit, Tony, they need to adapt it. Instead of dropping the whole season, if they won't go week to week, take, and I've said this before, a show drops, let's say the next Game of Thrones, comes out on the Robert Rebellion prequel series comes out and it's 12 episodes. And release it over the course of 12 days. Every day, release another episode. Maybe take a break on the weekends. 5 days a week, every night of the week, drop another one. Like just have it be a shorter period of time just so you can kind of create a little hype or create a mini series event around the release. And then you can still do the binge thing. It's only a week, or 9 days. Most shows are 9 or 10 episodes. So it's only like 10 days until the whole thing's dropped. They do that with the reality shows on Netflix, like The Circle, or, I want to fuck this person on the beach, whichever fucking show, like, I don't know what it's called, like one of those shows. They do that every week. Within a week, they'll release a bunch of episodes. And I think they should do that for all their shows, Tony. I think it would split the difference for what we do.
I understand, and I agree with you. I would rather be weekly because I think you get better water cooler talk and get people hyped up for it, because once it's dropped in one full season, then basically it's a week and it's a wrap. And then
then they don't talk about it anymore.
Right. So, but it's not the Netflix way. The Netflix way, that's what they built their brand on binge watching, right? Mm-hmm. They built their brand on you staying at home and being able to watch the full season in one weekend, snuggled up with your lover or your wife or whoever you're chilling with, your dog or your cats, and just get it and knocking it all out. And that's what makes people love it. To us as YouTubers, it's not ideal for us. But that's the Netflix way. So maybe you'll get half a season dropped and another half a season drop. That's all I could see them actually doing. You know what I mean? I can't see them.
I would hope that they give it to the creator's choice. But
I already just seen what they did with Stranger Things, and that's
they did. But they compromised, I guess, a little bit. Maybe they can tweak it out a little bit, and that's where it comes. If Netflix is going to do this right, they would do it like Disney does, I guess, where they let Marvel control their own shit. Like if HBO productions come in and just fund HBO productions. But I'm living in, and what do they say with Carol? If you want to live in happy, hippie, stupid world, Phil, you can do that. Where Netflix is going to be understanding and flexible. But no, the reality is honestly how Tony's putting it. They're gonna put the hammer down. They're like, and once they switch it over, well, now that we're Netflix brands, you're not going to have to wait for the season of Game of Thrones to come out. We're going to drop that whole baby right away. And then in a whole weekend, you can watch to see how Dunk and Egg finish their adventure before George even finishes the story.
And listen, I'm cool with them doing that. You know why? I'm going to tell you why I'm cool with them doing that. Because especially with a thing like Dunk and Egg. Because when these trailers drop, right? Let me see about these fucking YouTubers who cover Game of Thrones, most of them and shit. They come out, the trailer drops, right? There's a lot of people who never seen this, read the books, but they give the whole fucking show away on every scene of the trailer. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I understand you want to act like you know what the fuck you're talking about, and you want to act like you're smart and shit. But, this is going to be the trial of the 7, and the trial of the 7, that's what this scene is, and that's because you give the whole shit away to people who never read the books. And that's not fair. It's not fair to do that. So by dropping the whole season, if it stops that whole bullshit. You have to worry about that bullshit. For that reason, I'm cool with them doing it for shows like that have book adaptations that everybody knows and shit like that. You know what I mean? That's why I haven't done anything on the trailers and stuff that's dropped, because I don't want to give anything away. I feel it's terrible to
They
spoil.
literally, and I don't want to talk too much because I don't want to spoil by just saying it, but they literally are giving away the end of the first book
I
in
mean,
like
they do.
in the trailer. Like
They do. It's not that like
they don't even hide it. Like I'm not going to say it because if you haven't seen it, you might not know. But they literally give away the whole thing at the end of the trailer, right? To it, like they basically tell you what happens at the
they
end
give
of the
you
season.
the last episode, guaranteed.
Like it's a little
Right.
vague. I read it a while ago, but I'm like, is this?
Yeah.
They say it. They said it. They just said that.
Yeah, they definitely do. You know what I mean? And I'm not hating on game. I'm not crashing out. I'm not hating on game. I am myself have been 100% guilty of doing that, but for many things. I didn't give away a lot, but I did. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So, but I now in my old age, I guess I'm a little more cranky. You know what I mean, and stuff, and not wanting to be spoiled about stuff and shit. So, you know, I just don't think that people should just hint at the scene instead of just spelling out exactly why the scene happens, and this is the reason why it's going to happen, and this is the outcome of the scene.
They literally showed you the sketch of the whole season. You don't have to watch the season.
They did. It's without a doubt. They definitely did. But as I said, but I think Game of Thrones fans should be truly excited about this. It's very good for Game of Thrones, for the Song of Ice and Fire universe. It is very good. You will get all of those spinoffs, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Now, whether they're good or not, it's going to be something different, but you're going to get them. You're going to get them all, especially if anything is going on animation. They're about animation. They will put that animation out there, and they will do that. No problem. You'll get all. So all that shit's going to happen. Nymeria's Conquest and 1,000 Ships, you're going to get that. You're going to get the Corlys Valerian stuff.
You're going to get an Arya sequel series. I bet you're going to get
the Arya sequel series. You're going to get that. You're getting everything. You're going to get the Aegon's Conquest. You're going to get the Baratheon stuff. You'll get it all. I guarantee you'll get it all. And you may even get purple eyes on these Targaryens, because we've seen that they did it on The Witcher with no problem. So they may put purple eyes on these Targaryens finally, like they did.
Is The Witcher ending?
Yeah, it's done.
So that to your point, but to your point about what you were saying about Stranger Things, The Witcher's ending. They need another fantasy series, so they got Game of Thrones now.
Yeah, Game of Thrones would be it. And again, I think that they'll drop something new for Game of Thrones every year. And that's how they're going to keep all the Game of Thrones people happy. They're going to say, listen, we're going to drop every year. They're going to have some more Game of Thrones content in this universe. They're going to have more stuff dropping. So stay subscribed to Netflix if you want.
They're going to treat
Fire stuff.
They're going to treat it like Paramount treats Star Trek and Disney treats Star Wars. Like they're just going to get on that, and some of it's going to be good, some of it's going to be quick, fast. But I agree, Tony, especially if they decide to go the animation route, they can really spin some stuff out. I wouldn't be surprised if we see.
Would you watch a whole Game of Thrones animated series from start to bottom? They drop one.
That's funny that you said it. I was literally about to say you're going to see them do the whole book series. They're going to do like a Game of Thrones, like you've never seen it before. The same voices you knew, looking at it from a new perspective. Game of Thrones, the animated series, animated by this famous animator, blah 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 blah, right here, bringing that Castlevania animated. But yes, I would. I would watch the fuck out of that. I would love that. I'm all about adult animation when it's done well. One of my favorite series of all time is BoJack Horseman, which is obviously a Netflix series. But yeah, I would watch that. I've been screaming for that for a while. And you've said this a couple times, and I'll reiterate it. The people that want to see that petition that goes around, like remake season 8 to George's specifications, blubbity blubbity. Anyone who thinks it's much different than what we saw, and that's why George hasn't written the books, is fucking lying to themselves. But that's beside the point. But you could absolutely see the redo of Winds of Winter. When Winds of Winter comes out, you could see an animated version of Winds of Winter. And yes, I'm being optimistic here.
Guaranteed. How about y'all in the chat? I'm asking y'all the same question. Would you watch a Game of Thrones from the beginning? Even though you watched the whole series, if they did an animation, would you watch the whole animated if they did season 6? Let me know if that's something that you would be interested. Let us know if that's something you want to be interested in, or something you would like. Because I love it. I watched the whole fucking thing. I love the whole thing. I think it would be amazing. I couldn't wait to see it and stuff like that. And listen, when Dragon King's like, I don't watch cartoons. They're not cartoons. It's animation.
like my mom. Do you I was just gonna say, because I'm remembering it. I'm trying to remember Space Jam too. Wasn't there a point where the Looney Tunes go to Game of Thrones world? So we're gonna see Game of Thrones Looney Tunes thing and stuff like that too. We're gonna see the Looney Tunes crossing over to the Game of Thrones world. It's all gonna happen. But yeah, I would watch. I think most Game of Thrones fans would watch a animated remake of
Oh
this.
yeah, you bring, as you said, you could bring in Lady Stoneheart. You could bring in so much other things that didn't happen in the show in animation, right? You could bring Lady Stoneheart in. You could bring, all the flashbacks of Oberyn Martell. You could actually see him fighting, and they could do a whole big thing about the tower. You know what I mean? You could have that whole thing with Rhaegar in the flashback. They could do a whole episode and have all that there. They could do so much more in animation that the production has just cost too much. They could do the whole scene. They could have all that play out there, all these other things. You could have Fagon in there. You could have all the Dorne stuff and the Dorne women fighting like they're supposed to have.
The real Euron. You could have the real Euron, and you could have Bran be cool the whole time with his visions and like actually depict his visions from the book on screen. I think it's animated would be amazing, Tony. Have point of view chapters, the point of view episodes, one episode. Each episode is the point of view chapter, and it could be or a couple of episodes here and there. So you're hearing inside the character's head and getting the voiceover through that. It needs to happen. It would be awesome.
Yeah, 100%. And if they want to do it, they can do it. As I said, no, there's nothing that they would be able to stop them. As they have all that. They have Morrowind could be in it. There's so much more you could have in there and would be in there if they did the whole thing over in animation. They could have the full story of Game of Thrones, following the books, soup to nuts, in animation, exactly the way they did it. You could do a lot more violence in animation.
They could make the Greyjoys scary and not jokes.
Yeah, you could do all that. It would be amazing. It would really, truly would be amazing. They could have the people look like they're supposed to look like in the books too, if they really want.
Dario would actually be cool. Strong Belwas. You could have, the animated pissing. That would be incredible.
You can do all that stuff. So I think for Game of Thrones fans, I think it's great. Now, DC fans, let's talk about DC since I put it on the thumbnail real quick. James Gunn has just recently taken over DC. He's put out a couple of movies. To me, Superman sucked. I have no faith in Supergirl. I think James Gunn, to me, is a one-trick pony. He got lucky with the Guardians of the Galaxy, with the comedy of that and everything else, and he worked for that one movie. So now, all of a sudden, he thinks every movie has to be like Guardians of the Galaxy. I think that's where it doesn't work for me. I think James Gunn's going to get fired in the end. I don't think they're going to keep him on, and I don't think they should keep him on. They should really give it to Matt Reeves, the guy who's doing Batman, because he is the guy, to me, who makes the DC universe works. That Batman movie is good. That fucking Penguin fucking show is one of the great fucking comic book shows, one of the greatest shows of television history, the Penguin show. So I think that's the way DC should go, and I think Netflix might go that route and say this is the guy to run the new WB. What do you think?
I think that a couple things. Number one, first with James Gunn, I think James Gunn is good when he's not doing superheroes, but in superhero stuff, he's kind of a one-trick pony for sure. Like some of his other stuff is kind of cool outside superhero genres. I don't like Superman either. Like I was really kind of bored by it, and it was just stupid. I do kind of have some hope for Supergirl because I really like Millie Alcott, and it probably is just going to be a mess of a movie in the best way possible. But as for Matt Reeves taking over, I like that Batman movie. I think that energy and that vibe should be what DC is to differentiate itself. The darker energy, more serious, and the Penguin stuff is great. That being said, I think what made Marvel successful in some ways was they didn't have a director, creator of some sort at the helm. I think they do need to go with Matt Reeves, have him sort of be the person that's designing stuff, but they still need some sort of good executive, a Kevin Feige, a guy that's not creatively making the movies too, because they failed now 3 times with this. They tried with Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan's the one that hired Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder fucking failed in that, and then they tried.
Wait. Zack Snyder. But I will say this:
I hate those movies.
It wasn't bad in the beginning. I thought he was on the right track. It's the first Superman movie I thought was good. I thought they rushed the Batman Superman movie. They shouldn't have put that out so fast. The first Wonder Woman movie was great.
First one
So
was
I
good.
would say,
That's the only one I like, actually. Like, out of all of
so I
his
think
movies.
they had a shot if they would have let him see his vision through. But they when the Superman Batman movie and all that other with Aquaman made $1 billion under his regime. I mean, the $1 billion movies that came out were under his regime. They haven't seen the $1 billion DC movie after they left the Snyderverse.
No, and I understand that I'm more in the minority. Joe agrees with you. A lot of people agree with you. They like the Schneider movies. I just never got into them too much, except for the Wonder Woman movie. They just, especially Batman versus Superman and Justice League, really kind of disappointed me. Man of Steel was okay, and I like that they connected all the damage he did in Man of Steel into Batman versus Superman to kind of show the weight of that. I thought that was really good casting. Henry Cavill is an awesome casting of Superman, and I would have liked to see Ben Affleck's actual Batman alone movie that he was working on. It would have been kind of cool. And I think the Wonder Woman movie was a legitimate good movie. So what I will say is if you were going to let somebody go with it, they probably should have just let him play out his thought, because you're right. A large percentage of people really liked that stuff. It just wasn't made for me personally. For me, the best DC thing that ever existed was the 90s, early 2000 animated universe stuff. The Batman the Animated Show, the Justice League show, Batman Beyond, Static Shock. Like, and no one has been able to match that in a cinematic thing for DC, and they keep failing. No one's done Superman as good as that animated series, and no one's done Batman as good as that Batman series, and no one's tried Batman Beyond, which would be fucking awesome. Get Michael Keaton to play old fucking Batman and do Batman Beyond. It would be freaking like. So to me, I'm a biased, grumpy butthead with this one, because my DC is that animated thing and nothing's doing it right, Tony. I'm just an asshole with that shit. But you're right. There's a lot of confusion.
Animated movies are great. I think all the DC animated movies are amazing. I think they make great animated movies. I think if they just transfer the animated over to the live action, they have hit movies over there. I just think that when they try to go, DC to me is dark. Like, Marvel is not as dark as DC, but DC is supposed to be dark. And that's why I like this new one. You look at the Penguin and you look at the Batman, it's a darker tone. That's what I expect. Whether you look at the Nolan Batmans and all that, it's a darker tone. And when Tim Burton first came out, it was a darker turn until he got into fucking guys with nipples on their fucking
but that wasn't him. That was Joel Schumacher.
Ice skating and shit.
Yeah, that was Joel. Don't blame Tim Burton for that. That was Joel Schumacher.
Well, he gets lumped into it.
It's not his fault. He left after the second movie because they gave him a green light to do Batman Returns, and then he had like the Penguin biting off someone's ear, and like Christopher Walken killing people and throwing Michelle Pfeiffer out a window and her in leather stuff. So he only did the first two movies. Then they friendly asked him to leave, and Joel Schumacher came in and gave bat nipples and all of that, the bat credit card and shit.
Yeah, that all the dumb shit and everything. Kelly Johnson T could make a cameo in Flea Bottom for Flea Bottom Street Fight. You see how Diesel Don is right now? Do you see me here? Huh? You see how big I am? Of course I could do it, man. I don't go to the gym for nothing. I don't work out for nothing. I can definitely do it. Kelly Johnson also knows another super chat. Says Torskowski would kill anything. I don't. Who is he? What shows did he make? I don't know.
Yes, exactly. Tell us, ignorant, non-animated geniuses here.
Tell me what he did.
I need the show. Yeah, exactly. I need the show, Kelly. Don't outsmart us there.
What up to Julie B? She's in the building rocking with us right now and everything else. Catwoman, maybe they could have made a decent Catwoman. Oh, Samurai Jack.
Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, I like Samurai Jack.
Yeah, Samurai Jack was good. Primal.
Listen,
I'd take it if it looked like that. I'd take it if it looked like that. The Castlevania shit. That's works.
Nonfiction. Watch Mask of the Phantasm. Batman Mask of the Phantasm. It's probably the best animated Batman movie. Very good.
It's a very good movie. I think that is Batman, Superman, Public Enemies.
That's good. Public Enemies is really cool.
That was good. I thought that the Flashpoint was good.
Flashpoint one was really awesome.
The
Red Hood movie was really good.
Red Hood was good. Those are good fucking shows, man.
I really like that Red Hood one. And then some of the ones that are comic books like Dark Knight Returns or Dark Knight Returns is pretty good. Batman for Year One is pretty good. You can find a lot of them on HBO for now. Eventually on Netflix, Tony.
Yeah. Look, Julie B is here. I told Julie B to cover a show called Duster. I was on HBO because I thought that was a good show to cover, and I
Yeah,
can
you made
cover
me
the
watch
time
that shit too, and
right. Or yeah, and I like that show. And I tell you, Duster, if it was on Netflix, wouldn't have got canceled. What do you think?
Slayer. I mean, I think that's a show that definitely would have benefited from binge watch. I think certain
Mhm.
shows, this is why I hope that they actually decide on a case by case basis, because certain shows are better for binge watch because you need to get those build, because they're almost like long episodic movies. So you need the
Mhm.
building blocks. But some shows, Tony, if every HBO show, if a show like Mayor of Easttown came back and you were covering it week to week with mysteries and drops and shit like that, you need that week to week for like a mystery kind of mystery box, figure stuff out. Any of those kind of shows that end up dropping on all at once, I think it ruins the excitement of it. So I do think, I really do hope that they use the reality show method on mystery shows, because that does, it's not even about us YouTubers. It's about people that discuss the shows and building hype and excitement around it. If you can't build anticipation of picking up the mysteries in each episode and analyzing it to that point, and in certain shows just benefit, like a True Detective, for instance, you
Yeah.
need to do a True Detective like week to week. You can't produce a show
I
like that.
so I would counter that just by saying that I think the way Netflix is, they don't give a fuck. They care about minutes,
You're
right?
true. Yeah, I
They're
mean,
looking
you're
at
right.
how many,
You're right.
they're looking at how many minutes that show watch, and then whether you watch those minutes in 1 weekend or 3 months, they don't care. They just want the minutes, and when they get those minutes in a week, and they could put it out there, this shit got 10 million hours of watch time in 2 days. That's a bigger headline than stretching them 10 billion hours in 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that is why they do it like that. Just drop it right there. They get all those views. They get everything. They get all those minutes. They say, "Oh, this show's a smash hit. It's the highest one, but this is what it's gotten." And I think that's what you get, and that's the reason why they do that 100%. You know
I'm
what I mean?
hoping the marketing team comes in there and explains to them that the when you still see other companies doing things week to week, like Paramount or Disney or some of those ones, and they build more of events, or Apple, like with Pluribus or something, and they build and Severance, when that comes back, and those shows build this hype excitement weekend, couple of months of the show broadcasting, and kind of center the press and get all that attention. Maybe they may see they're losing something out, but you're right. As much as I want to counter what you're saying, the guys that are making those decisions are sitting looking at numbers on a computer screen and are saying, we care about the hours, and in this weekend we got blah, 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 blah. We're getting these many hours per week, and they've calculated that by their metrics, the numbers they need to reach, the binging helps. And if you add HBO's audience share into that, you increase your numbers by tenfold of all these people binge watching, all those Game of Thrones fans, all those Harry Potter fans. When that Harry Potter series finally comes out in a couple of years, you bet your ass it's probably not going to be week to week, or at least by season two.
Dropping that whole shit, and everyone, and they're gonna drop the whole Harry Potter series right on Netflix, one shot deal, and it's
That
gonna
might be the
blow up
first
that
one,
week.
Tony. That might be the
Yeah,
first
it's
one that
gonna
they
blow,
do.
and everyone's gonna watch it. Everyone's, because this is what it does. And let me explain to you. This is what it does by dropping everything in one shot. If you drop the Harry Potter thing, right? Say, all right, I'm not a big Harry Potter fan, but I heard about it, blah blah. I know it's coming out, so I'm interested.
Yeah, you're gonna check
Right?
it out. You're gonna check it
Right.
out.
So I go out, check it out. Now, what if the first episode isn't good? And I'm like, oh, this episode wasn't good, but let me give the second one a chance. Now, if it's a week to week thing and I watch that first episode, I may not go back to it next week because I was like, that episode wasn't good. I wasn't really feeling it. You know what I mean? Why am I going to watch the second episode? But when you drop them all at once, and you may not like that first episode, so you know what, episode 2 is about to boot up. Let me just see if it gets better. You know what I mean? And I think that makes binge watching a little bit better. Listen, I'm a bingeaholic. There's not a person in this motherfucking chatter in this world that would say, I'd rather watch week 2. You watch that shit as soon as it drops. It doesn't matter what it is. Of course you would. Who wouldn't? If they drop from the full season in one day, I'm watching it the full day. I'm not going to, because you could choose to watch one episode and then wait a week and watch it the next
Would you?
episode.
But would you feel good, or would you feel like you just
Yeah.
ate like you went to Home Down Buffet for breakfast and you ate way too much because that's like like and stuffed yourself, and then after you binge watch the whole season of From, you're like, oh, I wish I didn't do that. That's too much. I forget everything that happens.
No, because you get so into it. Because once you take that shit, you're ready to go to buffet again.
You're
Right?
ready to run right back up to Hometown Buffet again.
You're running right back and say that shit was only $8.
Dude, if I like the one time in my life I could stay at a all-inclusive resort sort of thing, like I was just like, gotta keep drinking, gotta earn every piece of dollar that I spent for this trip. I'm gonna drink more than and I pass out, I wake up, nope, make my way back down, go get another plate of bread, I ate that place. I ate more than I spent. But yeah, you're right, Tony. And yes,
Yeah.
Kelly Johnson, Bruce Timm doesn't quite do it anymore, but he still did it better than anybody.
Yeah. So listen. So no one will ever. No one's ever gonna do it. Listen, you can choose to watch one episode a week if you want, but you don't because you want to watch it all, and that's just the way it is. That's the way it is for everyone. That's the way it is. So when they willing to drop shows like that, you're gonna take it, and that's just the way it goes. So Harry Potter, when that drops, and maybe they do half and half for that, and have a 2-week break in between. But you're gonna watch this Witcher. When they dropped this Witcher thing, I watched the whole shit in one day. The first half, watched every fucking episode. The Ozarks. Now it has to be a hit show, right? So the Ozarks they dropped first season thing, but then when the last season, they dropped it in sections, right? Once they proved that it was a hit and everything else. So when they got it, when they got a hit show, they'll do that for the final 2 seasons or whatever when it's a blown up show like that. But besides that, they're going to see if it's a hit show by dropping all of it at one time and see how many people watch the whole thing and how many minutes it gets. And that's how they decide whether to bring a show back or not.
Classic EverQuest, one of my favorite games. But how do I consume my YouTube content if these shows are all one day? They don't care. They're going to do their own after shows that come on after the whole thing on Netflix itself. They don't care.
They don't care about us. They don't care about YouTube making money or YouTubers. You're just going to see YouTubers do ending explain videos. That's it. And then the people who are really getting views in it, maybe they'll do an episode by episode breakdown.
Yeah, the big ones that get views.
With no theory casting, all that goes away. All the theory videos and everything else, can't do that. That's all done.
That's what I'm saying with a show like From, for instance. If you would lose, like, part of what makes that show popular, part of what made Lost popular when it was that's the combining ground is those theories crafting.
I think what it is From wise is that it's such a good community of people who want to talk about it, that sit there and talk about it. What you're going to have to talk about is the next season.
Yep.
You're going to be talking about not what happened in that season, but what you think is going to happen the next season.
Or people will be doing live watches together, like coordinating on Discord to all watch the episodes, binge it at the same time, and all discuss it and pause in between and have sort of like book club watch party type of things. I think fans will start to do shit like that and try to self-regulate a little bit to a certain extent. But then you're gonna have cheaters that go, I think this might happen at the end of the season, when they binge watch the whole thing and then lie to all their friends.
Well, these motherfuckers get the screeners and do it anyways, right?
Oh, yeah. Totally. I tried to do that once.
People have hit me up and they said, why didn't you Pluribus review out Tony Teflon? I didn't watch the season. I mean, listen, when you make a video, the video may take me 7 to 8 hours to make a video, or maybe a little bit less if I'm lucky. So when you see anyone drop a video, as soon as the episode ends, they didn't just do it in 1 minute. They then did it.
I believe they got 8 episodes.
That's why they're able to do that.
Yeah, the press got 8 episodes before the season started.
Yeah, that's why it's only 8 episodes, right?
No, it's 9 episodes. They got everything.
They got everyone except for the last.
they got 8, not 9.
They got everyone but that. So it's that's why when you see them just drop 1 minute after the thing is open, their shit's already uploaded. They've already watched the episode. So when they tell you about all these theories that are coming up, they've seen them all. That's why they're making these theories and everything else and all that. I don't do it. That's not the Don style or anything else like that. I don't do that. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, that's why I don't get it. I can't get it out because I have a regular fucking job. I'm sorry. I have a job and I have to pay these bills and keep these lights on and everything else. You know, I have a daughter in college. This is what it is right now. So I have to get these things done and stuff. So I get it done as soon as possible as I can get them done. And that's just the way it goes, you know. So, you know, everyone asked Netflix to go week by week. They will not change their formula. They got popular by doing this. You know what I mean? By doing this, the binge drop. That's how they got popular. They're not giving up the model. They're just not going to do it. You have other things who do it, you know, week to week. Paramount. Let's go through it real quick. Paramount, Apple TV, all these other streaming device shows who do the week by week drop.
Does Amazon do? Amazon does both, right? Amazon does some shows. Some shows, yeah, some shows go.
When it's the first season, they'll drop it all at once, and if it blows up, then they'll start going week by week by it.
Because I want to feel like Invincible was all at once at first, and then when week to week the next seasons. I might be making that up in my mind, but
they always check that out. Let's break it down like this, real quick. Who's the most successful service out of them all? It's fucking Netflix, right? Yep. So it works. Obviously, it fucking works because they are saying we're going to get that person. Because if they can get a person like me or someone who actually has a girlfriend, you know, to say, hey, me and my lady are going to stay in. We're going to eat some popcorn. We're going to order some Uber. We're going to cook some food. We're going to lay in bed and cuddle and watch this show together. This is the audience they're after. This is who they want. K-pop demon hunters, those kids will watch that shit over and over again, and then they'll get put on in the background when these kids get unruly and you don't feel like fucking with them. You'll put it on and sit them in front of the TV of this shit, and they'll watch the whole series, and they'll be mesmerized by it, and you can go get your housework done. This is the audience that they're after. They don't want that week-to-week audience. They don't want that. They're not looking for that. You know what I mean?
And I think some of the other ones do the week-to-week because they have to fight the king, and that's how they get more attention because they're doing week-to-week. It creates bigger buzz because Netflix, just when Netflix comes out, when one of their big shows comes out, it dominates the landscape. Hulu does week-to-week. Hulu is technically Disney. I believe Hulu is owned by Disney at this point, which eventually it's going to disappear and it'll just be.
It is disappearing. It's all Disney Plus. It's in the Disney Plus app.
But Hulu still technically exists, but it won't for long. Like eventually they'll that's a good model, Tony, of how this is probably going to go, because technically for right now, the Hulu app still exists, but everything that's on that is already migrated into the Disney Plus app. So it's just a matter of turning the lights off. And
like MGMs should be a part of Amazon. I think it hurts it that it's not a part of Amazon.
It will. I think at this point that you're going to see all of them doing
viewership. You know, it hurts. It hurts the viewership. It hurts all that. You know what I mean? If From was on fucking Amazon, it'd be the biggest show next to The Boys that they have. Guaranteed. You know what I mean? It'd be the next biggest show, if not bigger than that. But instead, it's on an app that. I mean, I would say 3% of people have. I'm saying more people probably bootleg that show than have the app itself because of that. And I love From, and I'm just being honest. More people probably bootleg From than have that goddamn app, because who's paying for the MGM Plus app? No one's paying for that shit, but people like us who like that. You know what I mean? And they're cutting it off. And as soon as From is done, they're ending their subscription.
I mean, that's what I'm doing with a lot of these apps for shows. Like I almost contacted you because I got logged out, but I signed up for Apple just for the season. And like I always, it's the almost awkward question in the sharing password thing when you're like, oh, I signed out of my television. I got logged out. Hey, can I get that sign in again, man? It's like asking your buddy for like for money or something like that. But what I do is I sign up for whatever app has the show I'm watching at the time, sign up for those couple of months and then delete it. But certain ones you generally always keep.
Yeah, but Netflix is an app that look, I got Netflix. I don't watch it every day, but to me, it's just it's got to be there. Like it's there, and I just have it just to have it. because if I ever want to watch something like Seinfeld or something, I know it's there. That I can just turn up. Someone comes over my house and wants to watch TV, and I don't know what to put on. I know I could drop Netflix, and there's going to be something on there I could find we could watch, right?
Yeah.
So that's the one app that I just like it's just take the money, just take the money, and that's just the way it goes and everything else, and that's the way it's going to be with this, and that's the way people look at it and stuff. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. Yeah, Seinfeld. I like Seinfeld. All right, I do. I like that.
Marine. I'm a marine biologist. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I
mean, the worst part of Seinfeld is Jerry. The other three characters are way better. Yeah. But
now, they get Friends, Netflix. They get Friends. They get They get Martin's show. They get all that stuff. They're gonna get what's that other show that blew up? The Doctor show. Who was it?
House.
The Doctor. No, it just blew up. It won a lot of awards too last year it came out. The Doctor show on HBO. The Pit. Oh, they're gonna get that. They're gonna get that. They'll get all that shit. They'll have all that stuff. You know what I mean? I love Lovecraft Country. If Lovecraft Country ever had a chance to come back for season 2, this would be the chance it has to come back for season 2.
Ooh, Larry.
If it did those numbers on Netflix that it did on HBO, it would not have gotten canceled.
Mm-hmm.
They would have not have canceled that show. That show would have gotten a season 2 guarantee. 13 Emmy, I think it was 17 Emmy nominations. It would have got a season 2. HBO just let it go. You know what I mean? It would have definitely got it. So I think you get it. Yeah, Curb Your Enthusiasm will be on there. All the HBO Def comedy specials will be on there. You'll have all that HBO history. True Blood, people want that to come back out. They'll bring it back.
Netflix would probably rebuy Westworld, and Westworld would come back and finally be available for people to watch again, just to kind of bring that back into the fold as well. You're going to see a lot of that stuff like all coming together. And Sunny Skies and Samuel, I like Seinfeld and Curb equally for different reasons, because George Costanza is my favorite character. So I almost look at Curb as the continuing adventures of George Costanza sometimes. And obviously they're very different shows, but Larry David's humor is one of my favorite, funniest people on earth. And you can just feel that sense of humor on both shows. That being said, if you put it up against my head, I'm probably picking Curb just because it's a little bit more freeform, but both shows are amazing.
Yeah, Raised by Wolves, people are saying The Leftovers was the best. Mine is like The Leftovers was the best HBO series. I know about the best. I can't even. No. Sorry, Perp. I can't.
Oh no, a lot of people claim that that's right up there with The Wire. That those two.
Well, I'm not saying Leftovers wasn't great show.
It was okay.
But I just can't put it over The Wire. The Wire is the best show in television history,
and that is also going over to Netflix. I thought it was okay. I think The Wire is a better show. I think the HBO has a bunch of shows that are better than that. It's good though. It was good.
It's good. Sopranos, The Wire, Oz.
The Leftovers had one of the best endings in HBO shows with 6 Feet Under.
You get that 6 Feet Under. You'll have that over there. You'll have. I was just thinking about something.
Is Oz going to be on Netflix? Are we going to see?
Oz is definitely going to go.
Oh my god!
And these shows are going to blow back up when they get over there.
Imagine that, Tony. You're right. It's going to blow up. Imagine a new generation of people that are going to see J.K. Simmons for the first time as Vern Schillinger on Oz. Isn't that J.K. Simmons? Isn't that the dude from Juno? What's he doing?
What is that? Is that Peter Parker's boss right there?
What's he doing to that guy's butt? What's he tattooing into it? What's going on right there?
Yeah, Boardwalk Empire was definitely a good show too.
Great show. I just didn't like Boardwalk when there was that one season that Steve Buscemi just disappeared and we had to deal with that crazy idiot all season. What's his name? You know the actor I'm talking about, Florentine. What's his name? I just hate that actor. But I don't know what his name is. But I'm gonna get it in a second.
That season was when they had that Jib. Jib was there. Because Jib was not playing, he killing people and stuff like that. Guy was a real threat. Like that guy, he was not fucking around. Jib was that coder. He was not playing around. Jib. Empire was
good show.
Was a really good show. It was a real good show and everything. Kid sleep on his mom and everything else and all. Good show. It was all around. It was a good show and all that stuff. Nah, ADBS. What do you say?
What's that?
Classic EverQuest. Oh, also Adibisi is what he say.
Oh, Adibisi. Adibisi.
Yeah, Adibisi. Listen. Rome is probably the greatest. Rome. Listen. The first season of Rome is probably the greatest one season in television history. I don't know if there's ever been a better season of television than Rome season 1. Now, Rome season 2 obviously was supposed to be 4 seasons condensed into one, and they didn't do a great job at it. It was still amazing, but it would have been so much better if they were able to do what they wanted to do with it.
Truly,
but
Tony.
Overall, season 1 of Rome was just amazing.
Yeah, it was like godlike television, and I don't think you get Game of Thrones if you don't have Rome.
No, you don't, because George R. R. Martin specifically said when Dan and Dave went to him, they said we want to put it on HBO, and he said, "Oh, they did Rome, they could do my show."
Yeah,
because of that. So he specifically said the reason why he wanted HBO to do it was because they did Rome, and he's seen the way they did Rome. Rome was just.
Definitely give it a shot. YouTube is my time machine.
If you haven't seen Rome, then you have something amazing to watch tonight. You have something amazing to watch tonight. Rome was it's only 2 seasons. That first season was the actor, everything about it. It was just amazing. That season of television was just an amazing show. Amazing show. Probably the greatest Julius Caesar casting of all time. Out of any movie or any portrayal of Julius Caesar, I have never seen a better portrayal of Julius Caesar or Mark Antony.
Yeah, it was just done like amazingly well, and it was ahead of its game. In Rome is another one of these shows that if it came out a little bit later, when it's funny, sometimes you have to be the creator of something to have it become a thing. But then you miss out on the trend that you started. A band like and a lot of people heard about this band because of recent bad headlines, but a band like Jane's Addiction, they kind of bridged the gap between glam metal and grunge music. But once they reached their peak, they broke up, and then all the other kind of bands like lived off some stuff that they built up because they just couldn't handle it or sustain themselves. And there's something about Rome that sort of built these building blocks for fantasy being even more mainstream and showing it in an episodic kind of fashion. And I know it's not fantasy, it's history, but historical in that style. Game of Thrones is definitely influenced by it. All the stuff like that has been done since then in the medieval vibe is all sort of influenced by what Rome set out and did so unbelievably in season 1 and very great in season 2 as well. Just a little fast, a little rushed, and if everything just felt rushed, especially the second half of season 2, it just felt like slow the fuck down. It's Vikings kind of got that way towards the later half of it too, where it's just like, oh yeah, let's hurry this shit up. Like we're running out of time. We only get so many episodes with Ragnar. Let's zip this through. But yeah, so I think it's interesting that so many shows sort of built off what Rome created. The Last Kingdom, Vikings, even like all those shows.
All came all because of Rome.
Because Rome put a blueprint of how you can do this in an awesome fucking way.
Yeah, it was Rome that did that, and then Gladiator won the Oscar. Yep. And then once Gladiator won the Oscar, after that, then everybody wanted their own Gladiator Rome show. And that's what it was. But it was Rome that brought that back out there. And when Rome came out, it was the most expensive show on television history, right? It cost the most to do any of that stuff. And that's why HBO canceled it. But what HBO fucked up, and they said they fucked up, was they weren't anticipating DVD sales at that time. They weren't factoring that in. And when they seen how much money they made for DVD sales that they made, they said they tried to go back, but the guy had already said they already canceled the show. But they tried to go back and uncancel it, but it was too late at that time because they made so much. And I remember I paid $115 for that Rome box set when it came out. I remember $115 fucking dollars for a box set, a DVD box set, which is, you would never think of paying that right now. So the box set's $10, $20. It was $100,
and you got a pretty good deal back then too. It was pretty expensive. I
Yeah.
remember one birthday, someone got me the Deep Space Nine box set, and it was like, I can't believe how much they spent on this thing. You know, and like the next week it was on Netflix, and we were like binge watching it on the DVDs. We're like, what should we do? Like, should we just watch it on Netflix?
Let me ask this, because Sarah's asked this 4 times already. The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. No, I have never watched any Real Housewives show. Not Atlanta, Salt Lake City, nothing. I know who they are, but I've never watched any, so I have no idea and I don't know why it would be entertaining to me that these chicks in Salt Lake City would be entertaining to me out there in the Mormon land. Like, to me, I just don't feel like I can relate or want to. Phil, how about you for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City?
I haven't watched the Real Housewives shows. I've seen them on other reality shows, like they pop up on the Traders and other stuff like that. So I'm aware of who the housewives are, and I've seen Desperate Housewives. That's a really funny fucking show. I've seen a few episodes of that. That show's like tight, humorous, amazing, brilliant, fucking hilarious comedy. I know that has nothing to do. Did Desperate Housewives in a way indirectly influence all the Real Housewives shows?
I would think.
Was the success of that show? Did that spin off like reality versions of it or whatever?
I would think it would. It would, to get the housewives going. It was that, listen, the Jersey Shore shit, and then that Tara Judice for the housewives there flipping the table. Like, that was like the quintessential moment that she flipped the table. It was, oh my God, she flipped the Judice, her name is. She flipped the table, and then everyone started spinning off into their own segments and stuff. Oh, these rich bitches here, these rich bitches here, these rich bitches here. Everybody's rich bitch, everybody rich bitch. Y'all look at the rich bitch's life, rich bitch life. I don't give a goddamn about these rich bitches' life. They're not sucking my dick, so I don't care about them. In all honesty, it's just like I'm not into like fandom like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't get into a fandom where, you know what I mean, when I look at someone, I'm a fan of that person. I just don't. I didn't watch no hip hop thing. I never watched any of it, because if you ain't fucking me, I don't give a fuck what you do. And so let's live your life, and I don't care about you flaunting where you go shopping and what cars you driving and all that shit. Like, to me, that shit ain't. I don't give a fuck. I'll shit on your windshield of your Bentley. That's how much I give a fuck about it. I don't really care about your life like that. I'm more concerned about my own life than watching somebody else's on television.
For the most part, with reality shows, it has to be a competition reality show for me to enjoy watching it, because I watch it like a game show. The only exception to that is because I view Survivor, The Traders, like even Big Brother. Like, those are all fucking game shows.
I watch that all day.
They're game shows. But the only one of those shows I ever watched, Tony, and I didn't watch a lot of it, but I definitely watched a few episodes just because it was ridiculous, and I almost thought it was the first one, but it was almost a spoof of it all. Was the Osbournes, just because it was fucking ridiculous, like watching them fuck you, like, motherfucking. So for some reason, I could watch the Osbournes, and maybe that makes me a hypocrite.
They weren't bragging about their riches or nothing like that.
They were just being a hot mess, dude. They were being a hot fucking mess.
That's different. So I'm gonna put this out there. Because me and Phil, we watched The Traders. We love The Traders. The UK Traders just did a season for Celebrities UK.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to check that out.
I just binge watched the whole thing. And this is a British celebrity.
Where can I binge watch that? What's it on?
It's either Peacock or Paramount.
Oh, okay, cool, sweet.
I think it's Peacock.
Perfect.
I'm not sure. It's one of them. But I will put this out. I want y'all to answer this shit. Would you like the Don Tony Teflon? Because The Traders now has opened up the floor to regular people.
Do it.
Would you like the Don Tony Teflon and Phil? I'm not doing it unless Phil to go and then just try to get on The Traders. Phil the Issues Guy and Don Tony Teflon. And I will only put in the application if Phil puts in the application.
Oh no, don't say it that way, Tony. That's
the only way I would do it. I would only do it if one of us has to get on the show. If we both go on the same season, that would be amazing.
That'd be amazing. they wouldn't dare. We got to pretend we don't know each other. It's not like there's million hours of YouTube of us talking.
But the regular people of the show wouldn't know. right? They wouldn't know. The people watching.
Do you know what other? I would absolutely do that. We should definitely talk about that off air because I would definitely do that. The other shows I got to admit that I've watched, like stupid reality shows that based around celebrities, but again, I feel like it's the ones that make fun of it. I used to love the VH1 ones, the Surreal Life or Surreal Life Charm School or all Flavor of Love, Rock of Love, all those fucking hot messes of fucking television shows. I can't lie, like I feel they're like a little different than what we're talking about with, but maybe that's just me being a hypocrite, but I could deal with for some reason I liked watching, Corey Feldman.
Flavor of Love, I just looked at it and I was just like, none of these bitches like this cockroach looking ass nigga. Like, it's just impossible. There's no way you can convince me that any one of these women really like this guy.
Dude, Rock of Love was even worse.
There's no, I don't give a goddamn. There's no way that you can convince me any one of them, not one of them gave a goddamn love like this month. There's no way. It's impossible.
Oh no. And same with Brett, the Brett Michaels show. You can't tell me those girls didn't know he had herpes. It's Brett fucking Michaels. He's fucking disgusting.
But Brett Michaels is different than Flavor Flav.
They're both pretty disgusting.
Brett Michaels, the lead singer. Right, he's at least the lead singer of the group. You know what I mean? He's at least the number. He's not.
You make a good point. You make a good point, Tony. You make a good point.
Most about the hype man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, boy.
And at least one time in his life, Brett Michaels was considered a sex symbol. That's never been considered for Flavor Flav.
Yes.
And never ever in his life, young or anything, that anyone say Flavor Flav's sex symbol. At least Brett Michaels at one point was.
Fair enough.
But
at least we got the I Love New York show from the Flavor of Love show, which was good television.
Fuck Flavor Flav. Fuck Flav.
I know. I'm gonna jump on that because I know the personal story. We've told it on the air before, but fuck Flavor Flav.
I hate fucking Flavor.
So Tony has personal matters with the man.
I do. I got personal beef with Flav. I'll beat Flav up. If you want to see me in the ring, I'll beat
I'd pay to watch that celebrity boxing match.
Listen, it would be. I swear, Flavor Flav could last 30 seconds with me in the boxing ring. I would no longer throw punches and just take any punch he could give me, and I probably couldn't even hurt me. I'd just stand there for 8 rounds of him just punching me, and it wouldn't even affect me. You know what I mean? But if he could last 30 seconds with me in the boxing ring without me knocking him completely unconscious, I would stand and put my hands to the side and let him hit me as much as he wants. Because I guarantee he probably couldn't even hurt me. But I'm not. I would knock Flavor Flav's head right off his fucking shoulders. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. It would be a quick KO.
Dude, I saw Bridget Nielsen kick his ass. So I mean,
it would be like Rocky when he was getting beat up by Mr. T and before the final knockdown. But he wouldn't take as many blows as Rocky did.
The Kleberling one fight. No, it would be like Kleber going after Mickey backstage. Tony, come on. Come on, you're giving him Rocky? No, it'd be like when Kleber.
I would say beating the Rocky took a shit beating.
Oh, he did. He took an ass kick.
Beating he took Cleverly. It would be that type of beating, but he wouldn't be able to take those shots.
I'm thinking it would look more like Drago versus Apollo Creed.
Yeah.
Like he'd be dancing around the ring, and you'd be sitting there. It's not a play fight. You'd be like, "This isn't an exhibition, Flav."
The dog poop on the ground was Osborne's shot. The chicken Flavor Flav pulled the pants down and shit in front of everybody.
Oh, what was that girl's name? Yeah, yep.
Shit right on the floor, right in front of everyone. She pulled the skirt up and took a shit.
And then they had her on the Charm School thing, which had, I think, Sharon Osbourne as the...
That's the level of women he got there. I mean, he had a couple. Look, some women was sexy as fuck. That's why I know they couldn't like him.
That girl Hoops in New York, and Tiffany was cute too.
Bootylicious would have got bootied up, bootified.
The girl that got spit on by New York. She looked like Piper from Orange is the New Black. Pumpkin. Yeah, that was an. So you watch this shit too. Fuck you.
No, I've seen clips and highlights.
Oh, you know their names, dude. You know the girls' names.
because they're
You're
going
like,
on
no,
that.
you're like, no, Phil, I know it's pumpkin. I totally know it's pumpkin. I don't watch that shit.
It
I know
was Pumpkin who got see who did the spit because it was hilarious. Her face when they slowed her as she tried to
slow
run
motion.
away.
They had New York
Right.
throwing it out. Ah.
And she's like, "Oh, what?"
VH1 was exactly, it was quad face. VH1 had like all those shows from all the Surreal Life seasons, like the one with Peter Brady and the crazy video game chick. Like each one of those seasons had a different hilarious moment. They had the one that had like Emmanuel Lewis and Vern on it. Vern pisses in the corner. Like Vern is like pissing in the corner. I might be combining some of them, but I remember Vern waking up in the middle of the night being drunk and pissing in the corner somewhere.
Something delicious. Did I call it bootylicious? I think I called it.
Yeah, it was delicious, I believe.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but delicious was just some booty. So bootylicious fish. Let me go grab another drink. They'll hold it.
Okay, so let's get to a couple more things about this. I'm like, let me transition off of talking about Flavor of Love. And and I'm trying to remember if I can remember some of the girls from Rock of Love too, but those shows were ridiculously awful. And then it carried over to the show Drawn Together, the animated version of it. Speaking of that, kind of made fun of the whole reality show situation there. I heard that Mr. T's mom was upset with what Clubber Lang said to Adrian in Rocky 3. That doesn't surprise me. He was very mean to Adrian in Rocky 3. But he was most mean.
He didn't say anything bad to her.
Did he? He goes, hey woman, you want a real man? Is that what he said? Hey,
well,
woman?
He said, wait, it's better than that. He goes, hey woman, I know you're having some cold nights in your room, wishing there was a real man around you. I don't know if you ever want to be with a real man. And instead of that,
yeah, it was at the statue dedication, wasn't it, or something like that?
Yeah. It's like,
hey, woman.
But that got him to fight. It got him to fight saying that.
You want me, you got me. You want me, you got me. That was the only time Sly did the Sly voice in all of it. That being said, I know we're bouncing around a lot here, but this is the only place we're going to be able to talk about this. The last couple of episodes of Sly's series,
Yes.
why am I blanking on the name? Tulsa King. I couldn't think of Tulsa. Sam Jackson, come on. It's totally gone into the Sons of Anarchy route where they're just an unstoppable force, and it's just entertaining watching them just run people over.
I mean, burying people and burying them alive, and the FBI knows everything they're doing, but they're still doing it. You know, just to that point. You could see that the bar got raised as soon as Sam Jackson got in there. How much?
Yeah, he just brings so much energy, Tony. I'm going to be watching that spit. Like he's just like the joy he takes, even just he's adding that comic tone. Like I haven't seen Sam Jackson have that much fun in a while. Like you can tell he's really just having a fucking ball.
100%. And again, look at Paramount. Paramount lost Taylor Sheridan. He's gone. They lost Taylor Sheridan. They lost Warner Brothers and they lost Taylor Sheridan. So all those shows, Landman, all those shows will be leaving that network. Or they'll have to get a new someone to write it. I think Taylor Sheridan probably owns the show, so they probably can't have anyone write it. So it's a wrap, so that guy was producing all their good stuff and he's gone. So he's leaving them in like a year or so. So that's just the end of that whole situation for them. Paramount's in a bad situation. And I know people when going back to this, they said they're talking about a hostile takeover, that they may just, they got a bunch of Saudi money and they may just try to take over it and offer so many stocks that this hostile takeover by just buying all the majority of the stocks. And that's how they do it. I would put it like this. And I don't want to sound crazy in this. I don't like foreign entities taking over all these companies that we have here.
Did you see this most recent episode of South Park by chance?
I have not.
It deals with this very subject.
I don't like it. I don't like to have them spreading influence on our networks and things like that where they'll be able to take over. So I'm just not with it because they're involved in it. Not that I'm wrong. I got love for Saudi. I think Turkish Al Sheikh, His Excellency, is doing great things in boxing. And I love what he's doing, but he's doing it in his country and doing a thing. But when we talk about them taking over like networks like that, and then having I don't like that, them taking over.
And speaking of what we were talking about with HBO about shooting yourself in the foot, Paramount took their prize property of Star Trek and they made it a point to alienate Star Trek fans in an active way and flooded the market with trash Star Trek. And I know some people like New Trek, and the good shows that they put out, they don't replicate. Short Treks was Lower Decks was amazing. Picard season 3 with Terry, what is his name, did a great job. And nope, they give more to Kirkman, not Kirkman, Kurtzman, and all the fucking shit. Star Trek was a huge property for them that they could have really done some awesome things with. And instead, since Paramount has owned it, as a Star Trek fan, I feel hated. Tony, I feel like they hate me, and that's fine. That's fine. Keep hating me, Star Trek. We love you.
You know, it's so this is the way I look at it when it comes to these shows like that. What made that show popular? Why did people like that, and why go away from that whole situation? Right, and it's the same thing when I looked at the Star Wars franchise.
But you need action now, Tony. You need action.
Yeah, well, you have to. And I'm not saying this. I don't want to sound like I'm like. Listen, I gotta say this. I don't want to say this, and people take it the wrong way. But you don't have to add stuff in there just to fit a demographic to make people happy. Let me just put it like that. I don't need to see it. Like I as a black man and a black man who is I would consider myself independent. I'm not conservative. Only it depends what you're talking about. And I'm not liberal. Depends what you're talking about. It all depends on what you're talking about. And I have points of views on both. Like prostitution, I'm liberal, right? It all depends. Money, I'm conservative. So it all depends what you're talking about, right? So I don't think you need to have everyone be everything. Like, I don't think you need to have, let's just say, a black James Bond. I don't need black James Bond to be a black man. James Bond is a white guy who's 007.
British to create a new spy series.
White guy
cast Idris Elba in a new spy series, 008, and fucking do it.
008. And now you have a black spy in the British thing and have him be in a 007 movie, introduce him in there, and have a spinoff for 008. And now you have 008, now you have a black guy. I need a black guy. I don't need a woman being James Bond. I don't want to see that shit. Like, I don't need that. You know what I mean? I don't need these things to be like that. I don't need people to be certain ways just to fit that weren't out. When it comes to comic movies and stuff, they weren't that way. Don't put it in it. Like Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn had a relationship in the comic books. Put it in there then. If you do that in the movie,
great cartoon series about that.
Yeah, put them in there. But if it's someone else who's never been in a situation like that, just don't put them in that situation. Just because sake of
Plus, Tony, I think it's a crutch sometimes that you fall into writing certain stuff instead of actually just creating good characters. You concentrate so much about making like a strong kind of character like this or something, and you ignore things that have been done in the past. Like if you want to think about an example of a woman in a strong woman in a lead, you look at Aliens. They did, and you did it right in a situation like that by just making a wonderful, amazing character like Ripley or Princess Leia, or certain people that just shows. But like when it's forced in situations, it screams, or certain inclusion situations. I agree.
Pandering situation.
It's pandering. I mean, in Star Trek, you had Janeway and Cisco, but they didn't shout, "Oh, I'm a black man and I'm a woman." They were just characters, and they were that, and they were the best captains they could be. I mean, you could argue about Janeway, but Cisco is the greatest fucking captain in the world, and it had nothing to do. I mean, they had elements of that. They had episodes that focused on that and explored that in certain ways, but they didn't make it.
Now, like, I will push back on if someone said so. People may say, "Well, then the Valerians shouldn't be black." I will say this: so if it doesn't change the story, then to me it doesn't matter. Like I wouldn't want Jon Snow or the Starks to be black people, but the Valerians, side characters who have some things to
Yeah,
do, but not,
that leaves space, Tony. That leaves
yeah,
space to be able to do
that
some
that
creative
to
stuff.
me, it unless their race dictated what they do in the story. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, you can't have Black Panther be a white guy because him being black is the whole reason of the Black Panther, right? So, to me, the Valerians being changed to black characters from the books doesn't hurt the story because the story stays the same. And as long as the story stays the same, then it doesn't change the story. Skin color doesn't change the story, then it's fine. But
Right.
if it's depicted on like this person needs to be this color for this reason in the story, then yes, that's the way it has to be. And that's the way I would like it to see. Like
Yeah,
I
and there's
don't need
nothing wrong with casting based on that stuff. Saying you like, oh,
Mhm.
you need to like Magneto has like history that he was in a concentration camp and has that heritage or whatever stuff like that. And if they were like, oh, this person wants to play Magneto, it's like no, cast a there's plenty of parts that you can cast in certain roles and shit like that.
No way there's a Black Stark and all that code. You know, there could be a Black Stark living in the Summer Islands that met somebody, you know, they did something like that, you know what I mean? But I don't blame you because I don't like to be in this goddamn cold myself and I'm in here. But, you know, it could be a situation like that, you know, if it was written in the books and they went to the Summer Islands and they left and
And
you know,
to your point, Tony, there's a lot of that in Star Trek in the last couple of years.
yeah, and that's the reason why they lose stuff because you're doing all that pandering too much. There's no need to pander. Just write the story the way it's supposed to be written. You know what I mean? And that's just what it is. And make characters for people and new characters. I don't need old character. I don't need an old school character. Luke Cage is Luke Cage. I don't need new characters. I'm cool with the ones I got and make new ones. And that's it. So that's why I think that when you go outside the box. With Star Wars, they went too far with it. You know what I said? Star Wars, everyone said that Rogue One was supposed to suck. To me, Rogue One is one of the greatest Star Wars movies ever made. Ever made. And the whole franchise. I don't know how you feel about that, Phil, but to
No, I thought it
me,
was a good movie.
I,
I liked it.
I'd watch Rogue One over any one of these new era Star Wars movies. I think Rogue One's better than all of it. Than all of them, 100%. Carrot Top is Black Panther. That would be funny. Carrot Top, when they did that celebrity roast, he was getting so bad when they were roasting it. He couldn't
His plastic surgery was melting.
They got him so bad he couldn't take it. He was just sitting there, and you could see in his face he was mad about. Thank you, Kelly Johnson, for the super chat. T, could you rise in rankings in Marine fighting pits? Did you see the definition on this Don Tony Teflon here? Maybe this camera doesn't show it off as
And
much.
I'm going to be Tony's Bobby the Brain Heenan here. And did you see what that motherfucking out of shape douchebag Jorah did in those fighting pits? So if Jorah can do that, put a sword in that man's hand, and Tony's beating that Bravosi jumping a lot easier than it took Jorah to take his ass down with his dancing and shit.
100%. 100%. Listen. You talk about the Don Tony Teflon, 5'10" tall, 190 pounds. Trust me, you know, put me in the fighting pits. You know, and with all my 50-pound kettlebell swings that I do every other day. Trust me, it would be no problem for me to go in that fighting pit, all right, and take these dudes down. You wouldn't get me like Sir Barristan got. It wouldn't be that way. I wouldn't go out like Sir Barristan got by those masked men. They'd be running from me.
Is Mushroom a creature or a person in the book? I believe Tony knows this stuff better than I. Mushroom is like is a person that's he's a jester of Rhaenyra, right? Or
he's a jester from back then. Now the only thing is that whether his stories are real or not. And that's just what it is with Mushroom. What the story's real or is his stories the stories. George R. R. Martin has this thing about making dwarfs have big dicks. Like every dwarf in there has a big dick. Like he's got. I don't know why he does it every time. Maybe he's like, fuck it, they need something. But you always have. Speaking of dwarfs, I'm working on it right now. I'll have it out tomorrow. For the new Spartacus season, just dropped the first 2 episodes. I'll drop those videos tomorrow for the new Spartacus, the House of Asher. It dropped and everything, episode 1 and 2, and they have some dwarves in it. If you haven't watched it, then it's great. The dwarves in there.
I haven't checked out. Maybe I'll give it a shot. We got Lennon.
It was a good 2 episodes too. It really is. And I mean, it is everything that Spartacus is supposed to be and more. So it probably holds the record for the most full frontal male nudity in one scene in television history. Nothing that I want to see. You know what I mean? But without a doubt, it's Spartacus. It is what Spartacus is, and with all of its glory, whatever the way you want to look at that glory. Naked women, great in the way. I love it. I love all that. And male shit I can do without, but I understand why they do it. But it's really good. No, it's not first 3 episodes. It was the first 2 episodes. It already came out. They dropped the first 2 episodes on Friday. And I've watched them, I've recorded them, and I've had, in fact, that when I came on here, I said I had something running in the background. That's what was running on the background, my review for those shows and everything else. But yeah, if you, I'll be dropping the first 2 episodes, and Phil, you should watch them. We should do a weekly review, and it's funny.
I'll try to catch up. Ledness, I think you're on the vertical stream. We're streaming in 2 different places. So if you want to watch it in wide frame, just look on Tony's channel, and it's both channels, both streams are happening at the same time, so you can watch it vertical or horizontal.
Yes, yeah. That's the way they do it now on StreamYard. They do the shorts version and they do the regular version and stuff. So you have to go to the channel to watch the regular one and all that stuff.
I can move over a little bit, so I'm actually on camera on this thing. I'm ignoring it. I'm like, it's half my face the whole time here.
I'm trying to ignore it too.
I'm trying to ignore it too.
I guess it's the reality. I don't want to be one of those old whippersnappers that don't want to change with times and shit.
No, I've been making shorts. You gotta do it, Tony. You gotta do it.
Yeah, you got no choice, but this is the way it is and stuff. So I got no choice but to do these things and all that good stuff and everything. But yeah, so yeah, but now it's good. I'll drop those videos tomorrow for the Spartacus stuff and everything else, and I'll be dropping videos for because I enjoy it. I think it's not a great show. It's Spartacus, and Spartacus is not a great show, but it's entertaining. It's I just think the way they talk, it makes me laugh so much. Like it's just so outlandish. It's just so outlandish, and it's hilarious. Like some things they say is like I remember one time was one line in Spartacus or something like that, and then like that Bartiaris, who was the best, he was the funniest guy in all the series, and he said something like, "So Spartacus, will you fight for me?" And he goes, yes. Well, that's depending if you find my wife. He goes, "Oh, Spartacus, you kiss my ear only to finger my ass. What do I have to do to get you to fight for me?" And it's like things like that make me laugh. Like that to me.
That's amazing.
It's hilarious. He's like, "Will you fight for me?" "Oh, yes, I will. But Spartacus, you kiss my ear only to finger my ass. What else do I have to do for you?" That's hilarious to me. And that's the jokes you get in this show. Things like that.
That's amazing.
So it makes me laugh. And everything else. This makes me laugh and all that stuff. So, it's great. Who's garbage? Who's Sarah Charles? What are you talking about? He's a source of history. I don't know what you're talking about there, darling, and everything, and all that, and everything. But yeah, it's all good. Yeah, so I'll be dropping that tomorrow. I'll drop those videos tomorrow. The one video for both episodes. I'll put that.
A finger in the bum.
Yeah, and everything else. But back to the HBO thing. In the end, I do think it's a good thing. I hope Netflix it works. I think it will. This hostile takeover, I don't want to happen because it has foreign entities involved in it, and it would take that, and I just don't trust that stuff. So I don't want that to happen. I want Netflix to get it. I want Netflix to do that, put the Netflix spells on it. And I think it's going to be this HBO, to me, did that to themselves. It's a time period. Like, I remember having a box on my television set just for HBO. Like, there was just a straight box.
Remember that song comes on, do 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 do, with that big freaking thing with the HBO logo flying through space. Yeah. You fly inside the HBO logo. Like, the first show, like the shows Dream On, like the early shows that came on that really sort of like that were borderline, 80s, early 90s porn, and then that sort of converting into what HBO became. Super amazing. And Oz was the first one, but then The Wire and Sopranos really sort of got the Sopranos and The Wire. I should have said that the other way around, but just for the order that they came out. And it just sort of changed the game. And then HBO was on a murderer's row run with shows. They just kept coming out with another great one, another great one, another great one.
It was such a special network. I'm gonna say it's the first one that you bought a box that attached to your television set just to watch that one network, and people bought that box. That's what HBO was. You know what I mean?
I think we finally got it at our house to go to what you were saying earlier, Tony, was for boxing. Like, my mother wanted, like, a Tyson fight was on there, or something like that. My mom's like, "Oh, we got to finally get HBO. We got to watch this Mike Tyson fight."
Yeah, it was the boxing is what pushed it over the top. All the Tyson fights and everything, all the big fights, they left. It was on the Worldwide of Sports on ABC. Used to have the fights on them. And you look a lot of Sugar Ray Leonard fights in the 80s, all on that. Marvelous Marvin Hagler versus Tommy Hearns was on ABC. Wild World of Sports right there. And I used to have that thing, and the thrill of victory and the agony
of defeat.
Yep. And dun, 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 dun. You have that skier that's fuck himself up. That skier goes down. Fucks himself up and down. But that's what it was. And then it moved to HBO, the boxing. And that's when boxing started taking off. They had all the big fights on there and everything. Showtime eventually came along, and then they started doing boxing because they copied the HBO model.
Yep.
And everything else like that. But that's what HBO was. It was such an iconic thing. But I think they did it to themselves. And I can't blame anyone. Like, HBO would still be what it is today, but they did it to themselves, and they are just getting absorbed now by a better company, a more modern company. But the quality of shows have never left. They've always put out a high quality show. I would only say Apple TV is the only one who comes close to rivaling them in quality of shows. But HBO has been able to put out these quality shows without named people. They did it and made people stars, right? They didn't have all named people in all their shows. They did it and made people stars. Apple relies a lot on already known talent to head up a lot of their shows. And that's why a lot of their shows, to me, has been successful. You know what I mean? But these people, HBO is able to do that and break stars out and everything. If you look at the cast of The Wire and everyone there who became a star, I mean, they started on Oz. A lot of them started on Oz. And they look, Edie Falco started on Oz. Edie Falco started on Oz, then went on to the fucking Sopranos and became a fucking superstar and won Emmys. But she's got her start on Oz and shit like that.
I always forget about this show. I'm looking at the list of the top HBO series of all time. Number 1, The Wire. Number 2, Sopranos. Game of Thrones. Curb Your Enthusiasm. Deadwood. All of these came out respectively. The Oz is number 6. Number 7, I always forget about the series because I didn't watch it, but it was so highly regarded and big part of the early part of HBO's success. Band of Brothers. I feel like we're doing a eulogy for HBO, but that's what this is. It is in our lifetime. We've seen the rise, the ownership, like HBO owning the world essentially from prestige television, creating prestige television, and then dropping the ball. And it's interesting to watch that. And now they're in a position where
people bootleg shit because of HBO. People had fake boxes to get HBO. That's what started the trend of all that stuff, because people wanted to watch fights and everything else that was happening in shows on HBO. They bootlegged that shit. Again, Game of Thrones is still the number 1 most pirated show of all time. Off of HBO. What else do they have? Larry
Sanders Show, which is a funny ass show, which influenced a lot of things.
He gets Gary Shandling does not get the credit he
Dude,
deserves.
he used to guest host the Tonight Show all the time. Like the It's Gary Shandling show was fucking
Yep.
funny. He was Seinfeld would have been better if they cast Gary Shandling as Jerry Seinfeld, and
Yeah.
Jerry just wrote it with like if you put him in that role, that show would have been even better. Like Gary Shandling is an underrated dude. I'm glad you said that because he really is. 6 Feet Under, of course, True Detective, Veep. I never watched Veep, but I know it's awesome.
I mean, Julia Louis-Dreyfus won a fucking Academy Award. I think every year she was on Veep.
Yep,
So
and she's one of the funniest. People don't realize how much history she has in comedy. She was on the Saturday Night Live cast with Eddie Murphy. I think she was on that same cast, and a few seasons like that. That's where she really started her thing.
and listen, she's a billionaire. She didn't have to do this shit. Like she didn't have to. Like she's a billionaire. Her dad was a billionaire when she died and left her everything. Dude. She's always had the dough. So she could have went the Paris Hilton route. She's good looking enough to have done that. Like she could have went that route and just been that, but she has talent and she just wanted to use her talent to make her mark on it. Like a lot of people don't know about that she's a billionaire, but she is. I think people know now, but they didn't know it when she was on Seinfeld that she had all that money in the bank. No one knew that shit. She's fucking Elaine.
Yep, exactly. She's totally fucking Elaine. I did see the Eddie Murphy documentary on Netflix. It's a great documentary, but as I think Tony might have said that some part of it makes me sad just because I just want him out there more because he's so fucking funny. Like, get on the fucking stage, Eddie. Like, you can see him, he wants to do it. Like, there's something that stops him inside of him, and there's not a laziness, but people have upped him so much that he's afraid that if he goes out there, he's afraid to even fail in one fucking joke.
It's such a high bar.
He's afraid to tell one bad joke, Tony. Like, and I don't mean bad as in like dirty. I mean bad as in people go out and do a special and have modern landscape shit talking. Like he doesn't want to go out there.
It's a high bar for him. How can he go out there? Delirious and Raw was so big, and they got to look at Delirious and Raw. He's young. He's in shape.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He's got that. He know like. Let's put it like this. He is of that generation when he's putting that out. Right, so all of his jokes are landing and everything else. This is a whole new generation. He's got grandkids, great grandkids. They may not connect.
He's got 17 kids. He's got 100 grandkids.
They may not connect to him, and that's what. Like I said, like my daughter told me. My daughter told the Don Tony Teflon. She said, "Dad, you wouldn't understand." And I said, why wouldn't I understand? And she told me, she said, because you were born in the 1900s. That's why. Right? That's what my daughter just told me like a couple of months ago. I was born in the 1900s, so I wouldn't understand her problems that she's going through right now. All right. So if that's me and he's way older than me, then what do you think is going through Eddie Murphy's head when he's got to get out there and do stuff? So,
I wish he had a little bit. Just a tad bit, and he almost did. If it wasn't for COVID, he probably would have done it. From what he said,
yeah, he would have.
He would have done it. But I wish he had a little bit of old man George Carlin in him, where he just doesn't give a fuck. Or Pryor, like Pryor went out there in the wheelchair. Like he didn't like he had like he's like
that's what Pryor could do. He wasn't making any money else, right?
It's true. And Eddie's made so much money that he pays for celebrities' funerals. That's the one thing, the most amazing thing to come out of all of that. And he's so humble about it. But he had to say it. It almost like the people directing him, like you have to tell people this because no one knew. He paid for Red Fox's funeral. He buried Rick James. And there's a whole list of people that is like a whole list of people that Eddie Murphy has like taken care of people's families, and he's managed his money so fucking, like the dude is like, that man, that house.
He was one of the, him, Michael Jordan, and Oprah were like the first three like black people to really blow up and make that money in entertainment and become famous and everything else.
I guess we have to give that other guy the credit too. The C word, the cause as well.
Yeah, the cause too. Cause.
We gotta give the cause. We gotta give the devil his due on this one. I guess.
Without a doubt. But George Carlin is a political activist. I don't even look at him as a comedian. He's more of a philosopher.
A preacher, like totally more of a philosopher. Well said.
So Eddie Murphy doesn't fit that bill. David Chappelle does. But he doesn't. David Chappelle is built more like George Carlin.
Tony, years of genius things you've said. That's one that, like, Chappelle is the George Carlin of the day. He 100% is. That's the like when he goes out there, he doesn't really do comedy anymore. He more goes out there and gives philosophies that are funny.
Yeah. He is George Carlin reincarnated as David Chappelle.
Eddie doesn't really have a 1-for-1 because Eddie was a hybrid of Pryor and Cosby and Rodney Dangerfield and all these people that he sort of and Robin Williams to a certain extent with like the acting on stage and going like crazy. Like he brought all of that into one package. No one can do that like he did. There's no one that's even close to bringing that kind of energy to stand-up comedy. Like Chris Rock's more like Pryor, the way he tells stories and his voice is a big part of it and his expression, the way he frames jokes and stuff like that. But no one's like Eddie. Like who the fuck's like Eddie Murphy as a stand-up comic?
You can't be like Eddie. He does everything. He does everything great, and that's so his impressions are great. His stories are great. His one-liners are great.
His singing voice is great.
He's an entertainer. Eddie Murphy's just Eddie Murphy. He's just a class of his own. What year in 1900s, Tony? Early, mid? Yeah, she didn't specify. She acted like I was born in 1900. The way she was saying to my daughter, goddamn Chloe. I love you, Chloe. Love you to death. But it was wrong for you to say it to me. What other shows are we dealing with, Phil? And from HBO, you got the list.
Let me puck that. But going with stand-up comedies, no, I wouldn't put Kevin Hart in the top of stand-up comics of all time.
Who said that? Is Kevin Hart in the comments? No, are you crazy? Kevin Hart is terrible at stand-up. That Netflix special he had, I turned it off. It was terrible. He's not even great stand-up. He's never been a great stand-up. He's only 5'2", so I couldn't expect him to stand up.
I think Chris Rock's in the conversation. I think not enough people talk about how Chris Rock is top tier stand-up comic.
Yeah, no, that when he did his Chris Rock special and dressed in the Eddie Murphy leather and he went out there, he blew it up. I mean, he blew it up to the point where Jerry Seinfeld said he watched that and said it made him want to come out and do stand-up again.
Yep.
Because he's seeing what Chris Rock did and he wanted that feeling again. Now, Chris Rock is Kevin Hart is Hollywood's black comedian. And I don't mean that. And I'm not saying that he is, but that's the truth. He's Hollywood's black comedian. He is who Hollywood chose to be funny. And that is why he is in the position he is at. Not that he's the best, not that he's good. Hollywood chose him, put him in all the movies and everything else. Not that he didn't do a good job in all of them, but how he's Hollywood's pick.
Every generation they pick a handful of people that you can tell they're Hollywood's pick. Westworld's on this list. These two shows which have stood the test of time. Say what you want about this douchebag. He's been on the air since 2003 on HBO. Real Time last week with John Oliver. Like he's just been on there for fucking ever. And they started off, they had like the Dennis Miller show as well. And Chris Rock had a show.
They would do that with Real Time with Bill Maher. It's a weekly show. Or this week with how they would do that on Netflix. No, they would release it weekly. They would do that because they do that with Raw. They release it every week.
Yeah, they release it every week. So certainly they do it with Silicon Valley, which is a very funny show, Boardwalk Empire, Rome, Mr. Show with Bob and David, who is the funniest David Cross has ever been, and where Bob Odenkirk got his first big success on camera. The Pacific, I don't know what that is. That was
the war show, The Pacific.
I don't think I saw that one. Eastbound and Down is fucking hilarious, and Vice Principals.
Amazing.
Eastbound and Down and Vice Principals are both. Danny McBride. Sometimes I forget how much that fucking dude makes me laugh. Like that, he's just ridiculous. He's like one of the so fucking ridiculous. Hard Knocks is an HBO thing. So is Inside the NFL, right?
Hard Knocks inside the NFL, and it would be a Hard Knocks. They have the mid-season Hard Knocks they do now too.
Yep.
Sarah Charles. I said Charles. Sarah Charles.
Sarah, I'm with you. I'm with you. I know it's not. It's almost like I like Raising Hope better than My Name Is Earl, and not a lot of people think that. I like Vice Principals more than Eastbound and Down, but they're both fucking amazing. They really are. The only reason I like Vice Principals more is because you got the Walter Goggins factor, and he amps that show up a little bit, and their rivalry, their battle back and forth is fucking incredible. But both those shows are amazing. Entourage, Real Sports with Brian Gumbel, which I'm laughing at it, but it's fucking huge. Add a lot of attention.
It needed it at the time when it came out. It would needed to be done.
Yep.
Like you didn't get sports told in that story format that you got for that show. Like he was the first one to go behind the scenes and tell those stories about these people and everything in those sports. So it was really important.
So right. I find him boring as sin, but like you gotta give him his credit.
I mean, listen, black people you made fun of other black people. It's like, you Brian Gumble ass motherfucker.
Is that a thing? Is that a thing? That's funny. That's funny. More you know. Sex in the City, which you cannot deny the importance and the hilarity of that show. That show is fucking amazing. And
the new like it's like that would not have gotten canceled if it was on Netflix. They would have kept it going,
and they would have found a way to get Kim Cattrall back on that fucking show.
Yes, yes, because people would have been watching it, and that would have been it. Again, when you're dealing with HBO Max, you got to deal, and you're dealing with the numbers on HBO Max. You got to deal with the numbers of subscribers they have to that actual app. If you put Sex in the City, it's like that on Netflix, expose them to all of it. It would be like this. Let me put it to you like this. This is the easy way to do it. YouTube, the way YouTube works, right? And I'll break it down. The way YouTube works is that first, your video, if you're a YouTuber, it goes to your subscribers. If your subscribers watch the video and watch a lot of it and comment and do all that, then they open it up to a whole different branch of people, right? So if those people respond positively, then they open up to more, et cetera, et cetera. That's how you get views on YouTube. Mr. Beast has all these subscribers. Let's just say, I don't know how many he had, 100 million or whatever, 100 billion, whatever he had, right? So when they open up any video he puts out to all of his subscribers, he automatically, as soon as it opens up, gets like 50 million views because he has all those subscribers, right? But in the end, when you see his video and it has like, I would just say 100 million views, Mr. Beast gets on a video, that means YouTube has showed it to 1 billion people, right? So when you look at it in that context, out of the 1 billion people, 100 million watched it. 100 million is a lot of people, but it's nothing compared to 1 billion. So you have the opportunity to be exposed. If they expose my videos to 1 billion people, I guarantee you I'll get maybe not 100 million.
Tony, I'm going to tell you right away.
I'll get 1 million guaranteed every time.
Our Escaping From podcast has been exposed to like 40,000 people, or like 30, I think it's 35,000 people, and we have 17,000 people that have checked it out and downloaded episodes. That's pretty good damn percentage if you put us out to enough people.
It's all about who it gets pushed out to, right? So when you take these shows, and what I'm trying to say about it is that if you take Sex in the City or Just Like That, the spinoff of Sex in the City, and it's already got their subscriber count built in, and it's going to be shown. And what Netflix does is shows it to their whole unlike YouTube, it shows it to all the subscribers on Netflix. You automatically get that audience. I guarantee you that they will get them enough views. They will get more views than they would have got on HBO. And that's just the way it would be. And it would have worked for them and everything.
100%, Tony. And continue with, like, this is just, it doesn't end. I know, obviously, another person that some issues, but great fucking show, Lucky Louie. Lucky Louie was
wait. Well, let me say, Sarah Charles saying I'm a low-key Sex in the City fan. I love Sex in the City.
I'm not low-key about it. Me either.
Let me explain. I watched every episode when it came out. Well, I loved it. I love Sex in the City.
I watched the whole series twice.
I watched It's Like That, and I was disappointed in it. And I wished it was better. No, it was a hilarious show. It was a great show. It was hilarious. Written. Kim Cattrall is amazing, and I love that show.
I would say the four of those women have some of the best chemistry on screen since the Golden Girls. Like, they really are great on camera together. The dialogue when they're in a scene of the four of them together bouncing off dialogue actually reminds me of the Golden Girls sometimes. Like, they have that kind of energy.
there was one scene in there, and this guy wanted Miranda to eat his asshole, and she didn't want to do it, and he did it for her, so she felt like she had to do it back.
Return, yeah, return the favor. Yeah.
Like she had to do it because she didn't want to do it, but she felt like she had no choice because she did it to her. So he goes in there, and then he pulls his pants down, and her head is there. It's so hilarious that they have like her chin in between both of his butt cheeks, and he's wiggling his ass back and forth, and he's hitting her in the chin, and he's like, "Go ahead, do it. Go ahead, do it." And she goes, "I don't want to do it." And she backs away, but her chin, his hamstrings are hitting both and hitting her head like that, and she just pulls back and she wouldn't do it.
That was one of the funniest things and interesting things about that show. They just did so many different clever camera angles. They kind of carried that over from, I mentioned it earlier, the HBO series that started out, HBO series called it was called Dream On. It's an underrated series. They don't even have it on anywhere. Maybe Netflix would pop it up, but it has old clips of movies. It was about this like Leisure Suit Larry kind of guy that like his wife was like, she ended up marrying Frasier's dad on Frasier. Like that was the best known actress. There was like his best friend he had like a best friend buddy too. And it was like his style of trying to meet girls. And every time he was in sexual situations, they'd flash to him remembering old clips of movies, and it had like softcore porn. But what I was bringing it up is because in Sex and the City, they sort of borrowed the filming style of some of the sex scenes in that show, which was like in a very comedic, over the top way. And that became part of Sex and the City, which really kind of set some of the stuff. Other shows, again, Inside the NFL's listed on this. The Ali G show, which basically launched Sacha Bowen's, Baron Cohen's career, and amazing fucking show for what it was, and created the Borat character that became like his most famous character, came from the Ali G show. True Blood, which I've heard the first few seasons are excellent, but it gets shitty at the end.
It is good. True Blood was great in the beginning.
The Corner, as was mentioned, the Newsroom.
And the concept of True Blood, because it was like vampires are living amongst the human community, and everyone knows that they're vampires and just living out. And then they made this like soft drink, like and they called it True Blood, and that's what they had to drink to live. As long as they drank that, they didn't have to.
Interesting. That sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, so it was just like a beer, but it was called True Blood, and they would just drink that beer, and they wouldn't have to go out and kill nobody. And that's basically what it's about.
Now, Tony, this next show, I never watched it. I only know it because it was the show that constantly kicked fucking Breaking Bad's ass in award shows often, and other shows that I think were so much better than it, but I never watched it to judge it against. But I guess a lot of people fucking love it. The Newsroom. The Newsroom won all these fucking awards. I never watched it, but it won all these awards, and was. It's
hard to say the Newsroom wasn't. I
didn't watch it. I bet it's really amazing. I just don't know.
It really was. Even if you hate it, there's no denying the quality.
Was it really good? Is it something I should watch? Like that kind of thing.
It really was. There's no denying the quality of that show. I mean, even if you don't like it, you can't say it's something wrong with that show. Newsroom.
Another show that you can't deny the quality of, to transition to another one, not Pluribus, is Fraggle Rock. Fraggle fucking Rock.
Yes.
Which is an HBO series that you tuned in that as a kid, talking about when you're a kid and reason why you wanted to get HBO. One of the first reasons I remember wanting to watch HBO and going over a friend's house that was one of the rich kid that had HBO early on, and was watching fucking Fraggle Rock, which was just like a cross between the Muppets and Sesame Street, like the Henson stuff.
First off, the lead song of Fraggle Rock was amazing. The song. Down the Fraggle Rock. Down on Fraggle Rock. Like it was amazing. Fraggle Rock was amazing. There's no denying how great.
I was just gonna go get my Fraggle, but I won't get it. But yes, I have a Fraggle over there. And then the cool thing about Fraggle Rock was all the different perspective things that they did. Your Fraggles were really small, and if you went in the house, they were different size, and then you went into that other area that had the giant monsters and shit too. It was very cool. The Night of Extras. I'll go a little quicker here. Generation Kill, John Adams, Angels in America, Sonic Carnival, Family Tree, Treme, Big Love is a really good show. Do you know another big early one that might not seem like a lot because it wasn't good, but it was like important, Tony? It was Real Sex, that aired from 1990 to 2009. It was a huge show for HBO. It brought a lot of eyes onto HBO.
Real Sex worked. It was a great show. You know, it's like Taxi Cab Confessions,
Yep.
like the original reality TV show. You know what I mean? Like those shows, you had to have those shows to have these other shows that we have on there.
And Tony, we could keep going here. Flight of the Conchords, which is an amazing show. The Leftovers, The Comeback, the Ricky Gervais Show, Vice Principals. People mentioned this earlier on in the live chat, and we haven't talked about it yet. And it doesn't get talked about enough, I don't think. Tales from the Crypt. Tales from the Crypt was a big part also of HBO's early successes as well. A lot of people.
Let me address Dragon the Man's comment here, because he left it here. He says Netflix has not brought Warner Brothers. Let's put it to you like this. Netflix has sent an email to every subscriber that it has saying that they have acquired Warner Brothers.
I think, right? Let me read it. Let's see if I got it.
They sent it to every subscriber saying that they have acquired it. Now, we know that right at this particular time that there's a negotiation process that has to go through, that they're going to negotiate through it. But for all intensive purposes, they have brought it. Now, there's a negotiation. Now, Paramount may do a hostile takeover. They may attempt to do that or anything. They may try to get Donald Trump or the presidency to go. The bottom line is they pay the most per stock for it, and they have brought it. The fact that they are advertising to all of their subscribers that they have purchased Warner Brothers, it's right there. If you're a subscriber, you would have got it. You would see it. You see it's right there. They put it there and told you that they have. So yes, they have brought Warner Brothers. Is the deal finalized? No. And they bought that motherfucking cash too. Cash.
This is the exact wording of this, Tony. Hi, Trapville. We recently announced that Netflix will acquire Warner Brothers, including its film and television studios, HBO, HBO Max. This unites our leading entertainment services with Warner Brothers' iconic stories, bringing some of the world's most beloved franchises: Harry Potter, Friends, The Big Bang Theory, Casablanca, Game of Thrones, DC, Casablanca, Game of Thrones, DC Universe, Stranger Things with Wednesday, Stranger Things, Squid Game, Bridgerton, K-pop, and Demon Hunters. What's changing? Nothing is changing today. Both streaming services will continue to operate. We'll have more steps to complete before the deal is closed, as Dragon Demand says, including regulatory and shareholder approval. You'll hear from us when we have more to share. In the meantime, we hope you can continue to enjoy watching as much as you blubbity 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 blubbity.
Yeah, so the deal is not finalized, right? So it's not finalized.
They've swiped the credit card. It's in process. They're seeing if the sale goes through.
And there's a couple of things that could upset the apple cart, but in the end, when it's all said and done, and it's all said and done. Now the FCC won't deny it because it would be no different than Paramount buying. If the FCC denied it, it would be under the basis of a monopolization of the airways. And that would be no different than what Paramount would get. So if they denied them there, then it would set statute in case law that Paramount wouldn't be able to buy it because it would be the same exact reason why. So that's not going to be the reason. If it does go down in any way, it would have to be the hostile takeover. Done. Netflix agreed to pay $5 billion no matter what happens in this. Right? So if the deal doesn't go through, Netflix still has to pay HBO $5 billion. They ain't giving up they didn't put a $5 billion down payment on this bitch not to run this shit through. This is what it is. Netflix is going to take this thing and it's a wrap. I'm telling you now, no one else is coming out. I mean, there is a possibility of the hostile takeover with the Saudis and all that. And that would be the only other thing I could see happening. But as for like government intervention, the bottom line is, yes, the owners of Paramount Plus are friends with Donald Trump, but it is not hard to be a friend of Donald Trump. It's not hard. Anyone can be friends with Donald Trump. All you got to do is kiss the ring, baby. and you're his friend, and he got you. I
I love
promise you.
Apprentice season 2. You're amazing.
Hey, listen, you want me to do a documentary on your sons? Hey, we'll put a Netflix
I love
documentary
you. I love watching you kick Vince McMahon's ass. That was awesome. You're one of my favorite wrestling characters.
It's not easy. He loves flattery. It's easy thing. You know what I mean? So
I love
that's the
you
way.
on South Park. You're amazing this season on South Park.
I would just say that it's a wrap. It's gonna get approved. It's gonna be Hollywood actors don't like it because it's gonna set a budget for certain movies and everything else. But this is the new age. This is what it is. Again, we loved HBO for what it was. It did a great job, but it made a lot of bad decisions, and that's the way it goes. And everything else, CNN and all those other things, it doesn't have anything to do with it. It's not buying those. Doesn't want those companies. It just wants the HBO in the catalogs, and that's what it's going for, and that's what it's going to get, and that's the end of it. And there's CNN and all that. You'll still have your CNN. You'll still be able to watch that. Someone else, they'll sell that to somebody else, and that'll be the end of that situation. And there you go. And that's it. But it's a done deal. It's a done deal to me that, in my opinion, Netflix is getting it. They're not announcing it to their audience that they didn't think they were doing it. They're not putting up $5 billion. They didn't just for publicity to lose it. It's getting done.
I think it's a big deal that they put that statement out. And just a couple more of these shows, because there's more great ones. The Kids in the Hall, Dream On. I finally found it. Like I have wondered about this. Martin Tupper, recently divorced editor in Manhattan. Martin is filled with fantasies and sexual thoughts. Blubbity blubbity. It was on for 6 seasons, 1990 to 1996. I believe it was HBO's first successful series. Taxi Cab Confessions, Def Poetry, like Arliss, which was a funny show. Yeah, Arliss was good. It was just, it wasn't great, but it was like, just a good show.
It was the only show. It's the first show of its kind, like to go with to be a sports agent, right? So you get shows like the show on Apple TV right now about the what is the studio.
Oh yeah,
you get those shows because of Arliss. You know what I mean? Have shows like that.
And I don't know where you find Dream On now. I don't think it's available anywhere. It's one of those shows that HBO has buried to the depths of time. Maybe you'll see Netflix resurface it when they go through because HBO does have a bunch of stuff in the tank that they've put to bed before and they haven't actually seen before. On HBO, on Apple Plus, yeah, Ted Lasso is great. Apple has a huge success rate in the shows that they've produced. And even the ones that haven't necessarily hit, I don't think were badly produced. They just didn't find the right audience. There was that show with Jax Teller that was pretty good. But it, like, similar to like Duster, I just don't think it didn't have time to sort of fill out an audience, and probably would have been better just dropping the whole season. It was a well shot show. Anyways, like that. Dream On is very old. I couldn't even digitize it. It's probably one of those shows that it doesn't pay to digitize it, especially if you have to pay anybody for some of the clips that they use in those television flashback parts. I got this HBO Sinbad DVD. It's a lot of content not on the app. There is a lot of content not on the app that just, especially some of the comedy specials and some of the other dynamics like that, I remember having so much trouble finding, and I don't even know if it exists. There's a Curb Your Enthusiasm prequel thing. I don't know if it's available under Curb Your Enthusiasm anymore or now at this point, because I haven't looked in a while, but it was essentially like the pilot for Curb, where it was a documentary style of Larry getting back into stand-up, and it shows him going on stage and doing stand-up badly, and he's interacting with some of the early Curb stuff, and eventually turned into that. But HBO buries a lot of content as well over the years that they produced, and then it just disappears. Like, you're not going to see real sex anywhere unless you find a rip of it online.
It was the standard. It was the high standard of television, HBO, for a very long time. Even to this day, I wouldn't say a very long time, but to this day,
Task was great. I don't know if you watched Task, Tony. The Task that was on a couple of Task was fucking awesome.
To this day, HBO is still the greatest content creator of all channels and all networks, top to bottom. When a show comes on HBO, for some reason, it just looks better. right? I don't know why. It's the cameras they use, where it just looks better.
Yeah,
It's better on HBO. Still to this day. So Netflix is acquiring all that situation. And again, Derry will be that. Welcome to Derry will be the new Stranger Things, and they'll boost the budget, and you'll get better special effects from the Derry that we've seen in this show so far. These
Tony,
special effects are terrible.
can I admit something about Task? I watched the halfway through the season before I realized, and it's a credit to this dude, before I realized that was Crispy. Before I realized that was Crispy Cole in that part. I was like,
Really?
why? I was like, why do I hate this guy so much? And it didn't sort of snap into me till I'm like, oh my God, that's fucking Crispy. And
That's something we can also say too. HBO is loyal to the actors who go on HBO. If you go from the beginning all the way to the end, they always recast a lot of the actors. Then you got to get the White Lotus. White Lotus is.
Oh yeah, I didn't even mention White Lotus or
They'll drop
Euphoria.
White Lotus in one weekend, and you'll be able to watch the whole fucking White Lotus just like that. You know, and we got some Bertha, and we got Bertha booty in White Lotus this last season. And if you want to, who Bertha is the person from the Gilded Age who also played in White Lotus this season, and they showed her ass naked and just a booty naked, which is all I need to see anyway. So we got some Bertha booty, and I was here. I'm here for it. God damn it, I am here for it, 100%. All right,
Sonic, your boy Crispy's in the show Task on HBO.
Yeah, he's in Task. If you want to watch that, all right. Let's wrap this up. Let me get out of here and get to bed. My Saturday night is just that. That's the Saturday nights have become for the Don Tony Teflon. I go to bed. I have to get to bed because I got to go to the gym and work out at 6 a.m. So I got to get to bed. I have no days off, and then I got to get these two things out there for y'all tomorrow. So I'll get those up and everything else. Then watch some football and watch the Jets lose. That's my life. And then it's back to
I'm so sorry that the Patriots are getting another team before the Jets even make the playoffs. I think, but in fairness, Drake's having a great year. They're looking.
Oh my God!
And my Celtics are who are the only ones I actually care about. They're scrappy. They're not going to beat the Knicks in the series right now.
They did beat them the last game. The Celtics.
They're scrappy team. Jaylen Brown is like playing.
They're not supposed to do anything. You lost your star play for the whole year. You're not supposed to do anything that happens is a win.
Yeah, exactly. They got a scrappy team that's surprising some people because people are underestimating like Brown and Pritchard.
Tony got to do his nightly Golden Girls list. I got to jerk off to the Golden Girls. What I really have to do.
Dude, boy. Come on, hell yeah. So which one are you mainly concentrating? I'm Sophia all the way. I can't deny.
Yeah. Well, Rose's big ass titties.
Picture this, Tony. Sicily.
No. Calls me all the time. Rose's big ass titties. That's what gets me.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. You can't.
Gets on. She always makes fun of Blanche about her small titties too. She's quick to say it too. She's quick to bring that point up too. you
got to get your hits in on Blanche when you can. She's so sharp. She's so quick.
You got all she can, but she gets them in on her and everything else. All right, Pluribus tomorrow. Yes, Pluribus will be done tomorrow. We'll do the live stream for Pluribus. I'll drop that. We'll be doing that tomorrow night. I think 7 o'clock.
I will try to join you. I might not be around tomorrow night, but if I am, I will jump through.
All right, so I'll do the Pluribus stream for you tomorrow, no problem. I'll get that popping for you and everything else. Not a lot happened this episode to talk about. I watched Phil's.
You made it through Joe's violent hate.
I'm not too far from Joe.
No, I hear you. I know you're not. I said that a couple of times in the stream. Like you just say it in a nicer, more connected way. But I know you're not. I know you're not far off from Joe. Like
I'm not far from Joe on this. And listen, it's the number one show. It's the number one show of all time on Apple TV. It has done better numbers than Severance and every other show. Number one show on Apple TV. It's hard for me to understand it. I don't see it.
Totally. It's pissing Joe off at people like the show. It's pissing Joe off at people like the show.
But I'll talk about it tomorrow.
Joe hates it. Joe hates it.
I don't hate it. I think it's good. I just think it's going to have a lot of uphill battle to climb for the concept of the show in order for it to be what it should be. that I just don't see how it gets there. I don't see it this season unless I just don't see it unless they do a full 180 and there's other people in there involved, because the people they
I
brought,
think that 180 is coming. I think
you know,
something.
Paraguay guys, not enough for me. It's other guys, not enough. It's just not enough. Like, that's not enough for me to care about.
Oh,
There's nothing there. They
I
should have had
hear you
her.
guys, but I'm so with it. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
They should have had her with like a child of like 13, 14 years old survive it, and it's her and the child together. Then I would have maybe it would have been something. And the child's optimistic, and she's
Yeah, I mentioned your Wilson. It's needs something. Joe's whole thing with it is he finds her incredibly dislikable. Like he can't relate to her. He hates her. He's like, how can anyone relate? And I'm like, I feel like I'd be similar to Carol in this situation. I feel like I'm a dick in that.
But the whole thing is Carol was like this before this situation.
Yep.
She's always been dislikable. It's not like the situation made her dislikable. She was dislikable from the beginning.
True.
She was shitting on all her fans when she was sitting there. How they read this rubbish. Oh, fuck it. You should be happy these fuckers want to read this rubbish in your purple fucking books and your fucking pirate motherfucker and all that stuff. But she didn't even want to be there. She didn't even want to read the chapter. She didn't want to do
making fun of them. She was ragging on those motherfuckers.
Making fun of her own fucking fans. She just wanted to go home and fuck a woman. You know what I mean? And that was it. And you're not even that good of a writer. And her girlfriend knew she wasn't that good of a writer. That's why she let her put, it's not going to hurt her career. Let's put this shit out anyway. Let's make her happy. You know, it's just what it is. So that's just the way it goes. We got a question before we get out of here. Let's get a question here for you, Phil.
Yes. If I was one of the 13 and he had was able to have some fun with Marissa Tomei, would that baby be a part of the hive? Interesting. That is an interesting question. I would assume yes, because the blood unless it carried through because we don't necessarily know what makes people immune. I guess it is a DNA thing. So I guess I'm not a scientist. I don't understand the way DNA works with passing on with pregnancy in that way, with how much you get from one partner to the next partner. So I guess it would depend. Would it be a roll of the dice that maybe that child would be immune and maybe it wouldn't, depending on if it had more of the mother's DNA or my DNA? Because if it had more of the mom's DNA, it would be susceptible to the disease. But if it had more of mine, it wouldn't be. Or maybe if it had one marker. We don't know enough to answer that question, Sonic.
Sarah Charles just happens to be a scientist, and she is. But I would just say that.
But what you're saying is you're not far off from Joe's hate.
He's not really of a childbirthing age, but Phil would attempt to have multiple babies with Marissa, so it wouldn't just be
daily, Tony. Daily. Basically, and I know we'll talk about it more tomorrow. You'll talk about more. I'll try to jump on, but you're not far off from, like, you might not say it with as much hate, but the things he said didn't make sense to you.
I will say this: it doesn't excite me to watch it.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't give me the feeling that I can't wait till the next episode comes out. I don't have that there for this show. I would like to have it there. You know what I mean? I would like to have it.
I hope you join. I hope you join us at some point, Tony.
But I don't get excited. Like, I get excited. From's coming out. I get excited. Game of Thrones coming. I remember Game of Thrones, bro. I used to sit there with my roommate and we'd invite people over. People come over just to watch the show. You know what I mean? I remember back in the days, I used to go to my man Mark Wilson, and Flat fucking Creek. I would go over to his house. Bill Barker would come down, and me, him, and his Paul, rest in peace, Paul Wilson, and watch the fucking Bundys for Married with Children. We would sit there to watch that, you know, and it would be like, and we used to always say it's beer, the Bundys and Bill Barker. And we all just sit there and watch the Bundys and watch that half an hour show. And it was like a ritual that we would do it. And we were excited to watch that show. Game of Thrones, when that music hit, you knew. It was on. Like, I don't have that feeling for this show. Like,
and that's fair. And honestly, he said similar. I personally do, but I can get why this show isn't hitting the buttons for a lot of people. It's much more hit or miss because it is, as you mentioned, it is the number one most popular show. That's the stuff that I was saying that he's like, fuck this, fuck that. No, it is. It's because of autoplay. No, it's the number one show right now. People, a large percentage of people are feeling, but a large people coming from the podcast this week with Joe and all that hate, I'm getting people that are like, Joe's the worst thing, never have him back on. Fuck this guy, I'm gonna burn him. To, you know what? That dude makes a lot of sense. The show's better because he's on there screaming about this because everyone's glazing this show and I don't get it. And it's almost 50-50. It really is. Like some people are like feeling that this show is getting overhyped because of the Vince Gilligan factor. And some people are feeling
you could say House of the Dragon, it got the Game of Thrones push, right? You could say that House of the Dragons got a lot more views than it would have got because of Game of Thrones. And you would not think that a director, writer would be able to do that, but Vince Gilligan seems to have that type of push and that type of that people he has a track record that he should have that. But you wouldn't think the average person would say, hey, this is a new show by Vince Gilligan.
I don't think you're saying it's bad. You're just saying it's not something you're excited about.
I'm not saying it's bad at all.
Right. It's just not something you're excited about.
It's just not drawing me to the point where I am here for it. You know what I mean?
I'm with you.
Like it's just like it's not. I want to say it's boring me at points of the show. That it's repetitious, it's boring me, and it's like it's only so many times you could run that past me where I don't want to deal with it anymore. So that is where it has gotten me. It's not that excitement where I have to something to sink my teeth into on it. You know what I mean? And everything else. I would look at it like a flat booty woman. Will I fuck it? Yes. But will I enjoy it? Not as much as a big booty woman. Right, so that's the way I feel about it.
It doesn't have your taste to grab into, you know.
I need the booty to get a little more plump. It needs to get a BBL. It needs to push something out there for me, right?
And in fairness, I've heard this from a few people, and I respect your guys' opinion, and I appreciate the way you presented that. I disagree. I am interpreting the show in a different way and feeling it. I am exactly what you're describing is how I feel each week, sitting down to talk and watch the show. But I totally understand that not everyone is drinking this kind of
That's how I feel about women in general. I understand you do, Doc, and I hope that you and your husband have.
Doc is hilarious. Doc is
that's funny. That is funny. That was funny. But you know, it's got to get me going, and it's not getting me going. It's just the first couple episodes.
I think it's coming.
The first couple episodes had a chance to do it. And then after that, it kind of slowed down. And now I'm at that snail's place. And it's like, we're almost done with the season. You know, like
3 more episodes.
When is the shoe going to drop for me? You know what I mean? Like I watched this House of Usher and it got me from the first maybe nostalgia because of straight Spartacus shit that I just like to watch it. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know, but it just got me right from the beginning. You know what I mean? Like, and this is not. It had me, but it's not holding me there. It's just I'm just seeing repetitious stuff, and I'm sick of the fucking cop car, and I'm sick of all this. And you thought you were gonna tell this guy something special that he already knew, but even if you did tell him, there was no way that guy was giving up everything he had. There was no chance that if you went there and told him everything, oh my God, there's bodies in there, that he was going to give up his lifestyle that he's living. He wasn't giving that shit up. You know what I mean? And that's everything. I'm sorry, Sarah Childs says, flat booty girls are underrated, but I get it. I am not saying anything bad about flat booty women. I will say this.
We're about to transition into
flat booty women have dominated this planet since the existence of this planet. It has just been now that the rounder booty has been able to take over, but the history of this world has been run by flat booty women. Period. All right. So that is this way. And I did say I would have sex with a flat booty boy. I did say I'll have it. You know what I mean? I'll take them down too. Don't worry. And I have many times. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, nothing against them. I'm not body shaming anybody. You know, nothing against them or anything. I'm not saying, hey, no,
Exactly, Marty. He's not telling it. He's not saying anything that isn't well known. If you're subscribed on this channel and you don't know this,
I'm very well documented over.
Yes, I think Tony is documented in the Teflon TV Constitution. It's the first rule.
I thought I was gonna make. I thought about making a book called The Book of Tony and just giving all my insights to life and just putting it out there on Amazon, just doing The Book of Tony and giving all insights that The Book of Tony can help you through your life. Maybe I actually will do the book.
That would be pretty amazing. Remember what we were talking about? Remember what we were talking about before about the diversify like that? That'd be amazing. You do it as an audio podcast series of like.
I really thought about doing. I swear to God, I was like, I should just do the Book of Tony and just give all my insights to different questions in life and just put it in there, like I would say it. And just put it in there and everything.
It would be like Barney Stinson with like the playbook or something like that, or like
this is the Book of Tony, but everything, politics, life, food, any question you would have, the Book of Tony will have the answer for you in there and everything. And Tony's with a Y, Sonic boy. I is for a girl. All right, that is where it goes. All right, let me get the fuck up out of here so I get the fuck to bed and everything. Thank you all for joining us and everything else. All you people coming out here joining us and all that. The Netflix Warner Brothers deal, before we end, Phil, do you think is a good thing or no?
If it ends up happening, just to be clear, I agree with you, Tony, if it's going to happen, but for exact people, it's if it ends up happening, I think it's a good thing for some of the HBO properties to get that kind of Netflix money and the distribution method, but I think it's mixed. I am somewhat nostalgic for HBO, and I like individual companies having some sort of individual control. It's going to be a big thing to see. You said something earlier, and I don't want to go too far because I know you're trying to end things, but I don't want to see HBO shows look like Netflix series. And I'm not saying Netflix series don't look good, but you're right. Yes. There's something about the way HBO series looks, look that has this quality. You watch Task. There's something about the way they film it all that just makes you feel more in there than a Netflix series that has a different vibe to it. And I can't explain what it is. Maybe it's something that's not real and it's in my head, but I feel like it's real and it's there. And I just hope they keep that somehow. I don't know, but that's what's making me sad or melancholy.
I'm with you on that. It has to have that HBO look. What up to Burmy Bella 1? Sorry that we are about to bounce and you're here late. Mm-hmm. But we'll be back tomorrow to do the Pluribus. Episode breakdown theories. You do that tomorrow and everything else. I think it goes through. I think it's a done deal. No one thought Netflix would be able to pull it off. Everyone thought it was going to be Paramount. There's no one who gave Netflix a chance in this motherfucker. Netflix pulled it off, and I think they just did that. They didn't just do it just to do it. There's a reason why. It's going down. This is the new age. This is the new generation. After Netflix deal goes through and everything else, and that happens, you will see Apple TV or Amazon buy out another major studio. And this is the end of the studio movie theater era of television.
And that's the part that we didn't, Tony, that's the part we didn't talk too much about, and we can talk more about in the future. The movie stuff too. They also buy the Warner Brothers movies.
Right, we can talk about the movie.
I mean, like they basically were saying that they're going to turn this into like the main talk that's coming out from the Netflix people right now about the movie thing is like exactly what Tony was saying at the beginning of this podcast. No one wants to go to the movie theater anymore, and we're going to make sure we reflect that in Warner Brothers movies. So you're going to see very short runs of DC movies and other Warner Brothers property movies that are going to be they may not release in the theater anymore. They may decide that that's a luxury and have like event stuff where they release, where movie theater stuff turns into, things are in the movie theater for a week before they show up on.
And I'd rather be that way. Listen, I don't want to go. If you took the Avengers, and I'll give you how they can make money on it right now. And I've said this before, they should have done this in the past and it would have been a better experience. The movie The Avengers comes out, Doomsday comes out, right? You put it out in the movie theaters, but you also offer it at home for say $60.
Mm-hmm.
for a one-time watch. You get to pay $60 pay-per-view, and somehow they're able to make it that if you're recording the screen in any way, they obviously I don't think they can do a camera, but if you have recording equipment on it, then you lose your thing.
There's apps that if you try to do screenshots, they give you a blank
Yeah,
screen. I can't believe you can't do that for a show.
something like that. I would buy it and stay home for $6 instead of paying the $19 at the movie theater. I would buy it to stay home and watch it for $60.
Because if I add the food I can make at home for near to pennies, if for all the stuff I put together, that I just have at my house anyway, and all the money I'm going to spend at the movie theater, say I have a girl over.
And if you got a couple other people coming over to watch it too at the same time.
Yeah, you're spending more than, but I'm saying like even in that situation, you're spending more than 60. And you could do that. You could do the old thing you used to do with fights or with the wrestling matches where you're like, hey, you get 5 buddies together and everyone chips in a little bit of money and one person buys the pay-per-view at the house and you all get to watch it. Like you could do that with a movie, like, hey, 6 of your buddies put in $10 and fucking and all hang out and watch the movie. Like I know people don't hang out in real life anymore, but still, like, you could do that shit. College kids could do that shit.
And you could do it now. You do it. I would say it'd be like Netflix early access. Put it on this. You buy it from Netflix. You could buy it one time. Watch it on
DLC,
Netflix.
Tony. It's like pre-access.
$30. You can watch it right now instead of going to a shitty ass movie theater and watching it.
I gotta be honest. I haven't been to the movie theater since 2019. Like I just haven't had a reason to go back. I'm like, why do I care? I'm gonna wait. I mean, I'm gonna just fucking wait a couple weeks and watch the movie. No movies brought me to the theater since 2019.
And you're gonna listen. All these Hollywood actors, they're gonna be against it, and I'll tell you why they're gonna be against it. Because these enormous paychecks they receive, they're not gonna receive. Netflix is going to. If you're going to work on a Warner Brothers movie, now you have other studios, they can go work and get those enormous paychecks. But if you're on a Warner Brothers or a Netflix set, they're going to say, we're going to pay you this to be in this movie, and this is what it's going to be, and that's what you're going to make. And they ain't going to like it because they can make more money, so they're going to be against it because they're greedy. But I don't give a goddamn. You're making millions of dollars, no matter how much it is, to portray someone fake. You're getting praised on and making awards because you were able to play a fake person. Yep. Because not that you were a doctor who actually saved a life, because you pretended to be one. Not that you were actually a baseball player who hit the ball, because you pretended to be one. So you get all this shit, all this pussy and all this stuff you get out of your life and all this fame for pretending to be something. I pretend to be a lot of shit when I was growing up. I didn't get any ass from it. I didn't get anything from it.
I got my ass kicked from it, Tony, playing like D&D and shit. I used to fucking get my ass kicked for pretending to do things.
Nothing like that happened to me, right? So these motherfuckers is getting all this shit, and they're going to protest it because they want to keep raking in this money that they're getting and everything else like that. But it doesn't mean the movie quality has to go down. Look at F1 with Brad Pitt, still his biggest movie ever made. That's an Apple TV fucking movie that he made there, right? It's still the biggest movie he ever fucking made and stuff. So it doesn't mean the quality has to go down.
Netflix has made a couple of really great movies over the years. Anything that's not an Adam Sandler movie is fucking great on Netflix.
Yeah, so so it wouldn't be like anything like that. It would just be, this is what it is. So I got no love for them and anything else that they put shit out there and all of a sudden, we gotta keep getting in the theater. Fuck the theater. I'm done with the movie. The movie theater experience to me is ass. I don't want to be in that Stellies. They ain't Febreze in those seats. How many people farted in those seats before you sat in them? Who wants to be in that shit? I don't want to be in there like that. Over Redenbacher microwave popcorn costs $2. They charged me $15. They charged you $130 for a Galactus head fucking with popcorn in it. Who the fuck would have paid that much fucking for a Galactus head just because of the popcorn in it? I don't give a goddamn about that. Who wants that? I watched Fantastic.
Is it a cloud? Is it like just a fucking, what is it?
I watched Fantastic Four from my house on my 110-inch television set, and I was as disappointed as I was if I would have went to the movie theater.
No, you would have been more disappointed at the movie theater.
Exactly, because I would have to drive the fuck home. So I was happy. At least I was able just to stay home and watch that motherfucker.
I like going to the theater when I used to like going to the theater when there was a dollar theater down the street. If I'm paying $1, go to the theater. That's fun. Once in a while, if there's a great movie that I really want to see, I don't mind going to an IMAX thing, like paying a little extra, going to one of those 4D things. Like if they did it like the Vegas Globe thing, the Vegas Sphere, like if a movie theater experience, like going in there and you get like a 4D fucking experience. If I'm gonna pay that money, upgrade the movie experience and make it like this place Chunky's that exists around here where you can sit in these airplane seats and a waitress comes and takes your order and can serve you booze and shit like that. Like if you're going to get me to go to a theater once in a while, you know what was fun to go to the theater, Tony? They showed 2 episodes of Game of Thrones a few years ago, like in 2018 or 17. That got me to go to the theater because it's cool. You're like, oh, I've never seen a TV show in a movie theater. If they did that once in a while, you'd maybe say, fuck all, I'll go watch 2 episodes of The Wire. Like movie theaters should start doing that. Like show a fucking like binge watch a fucking series.
It's got to be an IMAX. If I'm gonna pay for a movie, it's got to be an IMAX
or 4D experience. One of those fucking things.
Situation, and you should have those movies run in those theaters and these other movie theaters who aren't willing to upgrade to those fucking screens and clean the fucking place. I'm not fucking with you.
$1 theaters. That's what they should be.
Yeah.
Buck theater, $5. It's inflation. $5 theaters. Like just $5. You go in there, bring that shit back. Bring the fat back. You can go to a movie theater.
Drive-ins. Keep the drive-ins open. The drive-ins experience to go to a drive-in movie theater in your car and do all that. I'm about all that. Yes. You could do all that there, but to me, to go to the goddamn theater, it's going to have to take some. Like I'll probably go to see Avengers Doomsday.
But Tony, I'm just gonna jump on this because I want to be clear, Sarah, and I'm not gonna speak for Tony, but I'll say that I bet the answer is he'd rather do this. Going to a play or musical, a play or theater, that kind of shit. I would, even though that's $1 billion now, I would much rather do that than go to a movie theater. That's an experience. You go to see like Book of Mormon, Wicked, some shit like that, like Hamilton. You go to see a big fucking Broadway show. That's fucking worth it. You're getting your fucking money's worth.
I'm not too far from the Proctor's Theater in Schenectady, and I went there to go see plays in that, and there's no problem with that.
That's different. That's totally different.
There's a Johnstown movie company that's out here. I'll go watch their plays. I'll definitely do that. So go to the Glove Theater. I'll do those things and everything else. But what I'm saying, you're going to get me to go see a movie, a Hollywood movie. I'd rather watch it in my house. Again, I paid for my TV. I paid for my surround sound system.
That's why live theater will never die, Tony, because there's nothing like the experience of like, you can't replicate that at home. I don't want to be a theater geek for a second, but you can't replicate that kind of energy, like seeing acting in front of you where it's a sport, where like acting on stage versus acting. It's like, it's more like you're watching the game. You're watching like a match especially if it's a fast-paced.
It's a different type it's an over-exaggerated form of acting too, right?
It's the only kind of acting I can do. I'm a bad real actor. I'm good at stage acting.
Yeah, it's a different type of acting and all that, and you have to go into it knowing that and everything else and all that good stuff and everything. So, I just rather see it. Like I said, I'd rather be home. I'm a homebody at this age anyway. And I just rather be home. But yeah, I said it before. If you had the Avengers and all that, you put it out when it came out on a pay-per-view basis I'd pay $60 to watch it instead of paying the $20 and stay home and be happy to watch it the one time.
You should just be able to buy the Marvel pass at the beginning of the year, and then you get all the Marvel movies. Pay $99 like the NFL package. You spend like, I'm buying the Marvel pass this year, and then you get all the movies straight to your, like the moment they come out. You get.
I would love it. I'd rather do that, but I probably will go to the theater to watch Doomsday and be upset that I'm around all these.
Yeah, I might go to see the Secret Wars or Doomsday or some shit like that.
Yeah, like I don't like. It doesn't mean shit to me to be in a movie theater. Like I don't want to hear people clapping at certain scenes and cheering at certain scenes, and maybe some people get into that. I want to hear the fucking movie that I paid for.
I think it depends the kind of movie, Tony, too. Like some movies are kind of a fun.
Like the Rocky Horror Show. Rocky
Horror or horror movies in general are kind of fun to watch live. When people are laughing and going crazy about like ridiculous, like Nightmare on Elm Street movies were really fun to watch live with an audience where everyone's laughing at Freddy's quips and all that sort of shit.
Yeah, but there's people who think they're comedians and want to say something and you're not funny.
Yeah,
Right? There's always going to be that person that and they expect to laugh and you don't get it, right? Because you're not funny, fucker. Shut your mouth and just let me watch.
I broke up with people for doing that at movie theaters. I'm just like, shut up! I'm trying to watch the fucking movie. Shut up.
Yeah, like that's not the way it's fucking supposed to be. So look, it's over. Times change, and people need to change with them, right? You need to change with them, and this is the way it should be. And I should be able just to pay the $20 fucking a month and get all my shit, and I'm cool with it. I'm cool. I'm fucking cool with it. I am cool with it. I hope it goes that route 100%. And Netflix puts it in the theater for 2 days.
He's talking. They're talking all that sort of shit today. That's the biggest news to come out of today is them basically saying we're gonna change Warner Brothers movie thing to borderline Netflix philosophy.
Yeah, put it out there for 2 days and put it out. I'm cool with that. Hey Tony, from my home girl who has been rocking with us since the channel has been open. Hey Tony, in the UK, everyone is kind of reserved. So you would be okay here. I would love to come to the UK. Number one, because the women have the sexiest accents in the world over there, and I just would like to hear them talk to me all day and all that. So I definitely be all about it and all about going to the UK. But I love the UK. Love, and I would love to go there for that. I'm gonna get there before it's all said and done. Before it's all said and done, I will get to the UK and all that. But yeah, I mean, that's what it is. I'd rather stay home. I think it's a great deal. I think it's going to go down. I don't think they're going to try to stop it, but they won't be able to stop it. And it goes down. Netflix takes over WB, and that's just the end it goes. And then you'll see Apple take over somebody else. Someone said Universal will be Apple will take over them, and then Amazon will take over someone else. They already took over MGM, and they'll take over somebody else. And then our bills come down because we only we ain't got to order all these fucking services.
There'll be 3 of them. Yeah, Paramount's probably going to disappear at some point too and be bought by somebody.
Paramount will get absorbed by all of us, so get Showtime or something like that, and then they'll be there. But this is what it'll be, and let's just go. Let's just get it over.
Paramount's going to get bought by Disney so they can do Star Wars and Star Trek crossovers.
Yeah, something like that.
Time. Right. They're going to want to do something by Shatner and whatever.
We gave you an extra 20 minutes here. We're only 3 hours up in this piece, and so let me get to bed before I gotta wake up in the fucking morning. So let me get to bed. Thank you. I'll see you all tomorrow. Or at least I'll see you for the Pluribus. We'll see you tomorrow for the Pluribus stream. Hopefully y'all stop back for that and everything else. We'll do that and everything. Answer your email.
Ooh, what's my email?
Who sent the email? Phil,
you checked the email. I closed out the other computer. I don't have the email and stuff open, but let me see if I can find it.
We're gonna see because it's nonfiction. We're gonna see just for you if we can answer this email. Unless she's talking to me.
No, I think she's talking to me, but I do not see an email.
Yeah, it would have to be.
I don't see an email.
No, I don't have anything from at all. So it's not me.
Yeah, not for me either. I'm looking at that inbox. I do not see it. We'll get next time if we missed it. All
right, we can't find. All right, we'll try to find it if we can. I'm sorry, we have not been there. I don't know what email you're talking about. Not Don Tony Teflon email.
No, it's probably to my email, but I'm looking at the inbox right now. I don't have one.
Soon we will be doing From live streams. We'll be back on From. Don't worry, From's coming back. I was already thinking about. I already have episodes of From recorded that I'll drop as soon as that trailer drops. So. Not that I know what the trailer is, but things that I'll explain the next upcoming season. I already have like 4 videos done. I'm not going to put them out until people are actually searching that stuff. So I'm ready to go for From. So I expect the trailer in January, February, the latest for From. So, all right. If you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this, spread this across the realm, and of course, subscribe. And until next time, You know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.